I think we're live, everybody. Shane Bacon, Max Homa. Max got a new hat and everything. What's up with the hat?
I think I'm the first person to do a USGA broadcast with the Dodgers hat on, so I'm honored.
This is Regret. You get the name because our podcast is called Get a Grip. This is the 96 US Amateur from Pumpkin Ridge. As you see, we've got Dan Hicks, we've got Johnny Miller, young guy Tiger Woods is playing against Steve Scott, and this is a run from Tiger. He's won Max 5 straight USGA championships coming in. I got some stats here. I'm going to read you some stats about Tiger.
Please, read away.
All right. Spoiler alert. Only player to win U.S. Amateurs 3 straight years. Okay. He won 3 juniors before that. I can do the math. That's 36 straight match wins. And everybody thinks that this guy was some nobody. Steve Scott made the semifinals the year before in Newport and lost to Buddy Marucci, who played Tiger in that match. So, I mean, this dude had a ton of game as well. And we'll have Steve come on a little bit later to join us and kind of give his commentary on what happened. But, I mean, you know some of the stats about Steve. The guy was a pretty impressive high school player and college player.
Yeah, I was surprised. You know, I guess a lot of these people get kind of, when they get matched up with Tiger, and obviously Tiger ends up getting the better out of most times, you assume, minus maybe Phil Mickelson, that they kind of are, I guess, a relative no-name. But like we both know, amateur golf is very deep. Yeah, doing research on Steve, tons of accolades. A lot of them happen, after this match. But yeah, great high school career. I was very surprised to hear all of that. But obviously, it makes a lot of sense. You make it to the finals of the U.S. Amateur and the semifinals of the U.S. Amateur. You're a heck of a player.
And Steve was I think he was the #1 ranked amateur when he got done at Florida.
Yeah, 99.
And watching what's going on. So I knew, again, I mean, I dove pretty deep into some of the SI Vault stuff on his Tiger the amateur stuff play. I talked to David Fay this morning. He was down not just in all of the U.S. Amateur championship matches. He was down in all 3 of the junior amateurs he won in the match. And, I mean, he was 6 down to Trip King. As you see here, 5 down in this match. He was 3 down at one point to Buddy Marucci. And Tiger, at one point said this today, what we're watching, is the best he's ever played. At the time, of course. But, I mean, this was as good as he's ever played.
Well, I think he shoots 5 over in the morning match. So obviously he turns it around. But it's really weird to think that he comes from behind in all of these U.S. Amateur and U.S. Junior Amateurs, considering it takes him all the way until his 15th major win to win 1 from behind. It makes no sense. We kind of think of Tiger as the best front runner ever, and obviously he's had some pretty crazy track downs. The Pebble Beach event when he tracked down Gogol, I think, like that's a wild one. But we think of him as a front runner. Yet here he comes and all these U.S. Amateurs, a million down through 18 every time, and every time he puts on this crazy clinic on the second 18.
So real quick, things you notice. The outfit change. Your thoughts?
I mean, you got to do it, I think, for the USAM final. I mean, you pull out all the stops. I do love it. I love that he's still he does the red. I know that it's from Stanford, but it's still so cool. Anytime you see Tiger in red shirt, it signifies that he is, he's about to make his presence very much felt. And obviously he does that this tournament. But yeah, it's nice to see pretty much every highlight of him in red. It feels good.
So, I mean, as you can tell, at the time back in '96, the broadcast came on well into that second 18. What we do now with the amateur is, we do the morning 18 digitally on USGA's app, and then we roll in all 18 holes. This is my favorite moment of the whole thing, though.
Yeah, the match
polos, bro.
I don't get it.
The matching.
I do not get it.
Jacket polo combo.
I mean, they look sharp. I've just never. It feels like it's a movie where like some sort of Tin Cup type movie where it's almost to be funny, but I don't know. It looks nice, but I've just never seen it in our present day golf. So it kind of shocked me when we first kind of prepped and saw these two guys sitting there looking like they're trying to be twin day in high school or elementary school or something.
If you're at home watching this or wherever, if you have questions for us at any point, just tweet at Max and tweet at myself at Shane Bacon at MaxHoma23. As these guys talk, Max, two things I've heard from two different people. David Fay told me this, and Hicks, who you see here, said the same thing. Tiger was working with Butch at the time, and they were on the range after the morning 18, and there was a moment. Here's what Dan said to me. He said, they knew of his rep for coming back in these events. He said that they were on the driving range, and Butch started smiling, like huge grin on his face as Tiger was hitting range balls, getting ready for the afternoon 18. And it was just one of those, it had this look on his face like, we figured it out. And David Fay said the same thing. He said he talked to him after and said they figured something out on the range in between the 18-hole championship match. And, Tiger went out there and, like I said, played as good as he's admitted ever playing up to this point.
If it's like, obviously Butch was famous then, but if this is, 20 years later, even present day, and I'm let's just say I was in college and the guy I'm playing takes lessons from Butch Harmon, immediate panic. Like, you're in trouble. Like, he just feels, I don't even know how to get in contact with him now, let alone when I'm a college player. So that's the first taste of just Tiger intimidation. I would be unprepared for that situation.
Yeah, so I was playing, I got into the AJGA circuit my sophomore year of high school. I played in my first AJGA event. And then I got into some bigger of the AJGA events my junior year of high school. And I remember I went to a Robert Trent Jones event, and it was about 105 degrees in Alabama and super humid. And Casey Wittenberg, who was the #1 amateur at the time and was this stud, he's going to be the next big thing, wore pants the whole week.
Yeah.
And that was the moment where you're like, this dude's pants flexing on us right now.
Absolutely. He's bringing it. The pants thing is always tough. I think one of my favorite tweets of all time, Blaine Barber tweeted about the U.S. Open 36-hole qualifier. He said, the U.S. Open sectional qualifier when all of the amateurs wear pants and all the pros wear shorts. Some people are trying to feel like a professional. Others are very much trying to be comfortable. But yeah, you come out, that's the other thing. My coach used to talk about that. Come out looking sharp and you can kind of feel your way into being a professional and maybe even, intimidate a little bit the other guys because they can get in their head thinking this guy really, means business. But I just don't know. It would be scary to ever hear about Tiger like finding it because I've never seen him not have it.
Right.
So if he finds it's obviously a whole other level of incredible. So that's just another big fear point of this match. Here it is. Here's where they start smiling.
See what they say here.
I mean, that grin says a lot.
Do you think that driver
he probably likes being 5 down. It's like, yeah, well, sure. I'll
the driver was used to hit.
So have you been here, Shane? Have you been to this course?
I caddied for a friend of mine at an LPGA event. You played it, right?
Yeah, I played here a bunch. I love this. I think it's a great golf course. Not one, I guess. I obviously don't know Tiger's game exactly back in the 90s, but not somewhere I think Tiger would thrive. It's not particularly long. It's very narrow. I guess so is Newport Country Club, where he won the year before, or 2 years before. But yeah, he pretty impressive. Obviously, his game travels everywhere, but you kind of picture certain types of golf courses he would dominate. This would not have been one I would have considered. Narrow, undulated greens. It's a little bit of a kind of a placement golf course.
A couple things on Tiger for the week. He was medalist, no big deal. So it's pretty good. Win two amateurs.
USAM and then winning it twice, coming back the third year and then winning medalist again. Like everyone's just got to be like, I'm sick of this guy. Like turn pro. You're better than us. Leave.
So he's medalist. He has a caddy looping for him. And after stroke play, he brought a buddy of his on to caddy after being medalist. So he played as better than anyone and changed his caddies to a friend. And the reason was apparently, I think it was Byron Bell, and he said he was better at clubbing Tiger. You know, it's like,
sure.
Now, I'll say doing a lot of these amateur events, you see more caddy changes than maybe you think happen. Like we see it happen more deep into the runs, you know, and you're
you're playing so many rounds of golf. Like you just, when I the one USAM I played well in at Chambers Bay, my dad was caddying, and it's obviously a really difficult walk. And in the quarterfinals, which is where I ultimately ended my run, my dad had told me after that round that he had slipped and like on some of the fescue and had ripped open like, you know, a blister on the back of his ankle. And he had mentioned that, you know, if we had to play another 18 or 36, that he didn't know if he was going to be able to go. So we might have been doing the same thing. I just think that it's just a lot of golf. 2 rounds of stroke play, then, you know, it could be up to about, I think, 5 or 6 rounds of match play. Not all these guys obviously have a caddy. Steve here has his girlfriend at the time. So it's not like everyone's, you know, professional, and you get buddies. It's an experience. You know, you're an amateur, you're playing the biggest event amateur golf has. Not exactly like you have Steve Williams, you know, on the bag. Tiger probably could have, but that's the only person I've ever considered having that option.
He brings a pro caddy out, you know. He's like, hey, you got a loop here. And it's you know, I was texting with Hicks. I said, did it feel like you were doing a major championship, like a professional major? And he said, for sure. I mean, there were more ticket requests for 96 than any amateur dating back till we met. So
that's what I'm looking forward to asking.
It's a pretty big deal.
I'm just curious, like, you know, for most of us that played US Amateur, that's the first time you play in front of a serious crowd, just because in match play the golf course is condensed because there's only so many groups. So then you add in the Tiger factor where he's been doing this quite often. I'm sure in his career, I can't imagine playing in front of this many people that early on, and being that comfortable with it. So I'm curious how Steve approached that and how wild that was, because if Hicks is saying it, he's seen, you know, all of the big events. If this even rivals that at all, it's pretty wild to consider it's amateur golf. I know we're all kind of accustomed to Tiger having tons of people watching him, but I think people don't grasp he's still a 19-year-old, 20-year-old kid here. I mean, it's still pretty shocking, especially in golf, to have this kind of following at such an early age. I love this hole, by the way. It is the hardest layup, par 5. It is so narrow. You have to be up the left side, but if you get too far left, you get in the trees. And then, I don't know if you remember this green, but the green is tiny and has runoffs on all the sides. It's a very difficult par 5. It's one where nowadays, if you bomb a drive, you can get there. And 2, I saw Tiger hit less than driver off the tee.
Nice.
Looks like an iron. But I've gotten there too, but it's such a scary second shot, because if the pin's on the left side and you pull it, which is pretty likely from a long distance, you just have no real chance. You're probably more likely to make a bogey than a birdie at that point. So looks like he tried to rip one at it. But yeah, there's nowhere up. Like, these trees overhang into the fairway. That was super lucky. But it's like a very well thought out golf hole. That's why I love this golf course. It's very different than what we kind of seen a little bit more lately, with big wide fairways. And like a kind of a lack of trees. This one is an abundance of trees, and I think it's cool. It's a nice change of pace.
Last year things went by. It seemed like everything went by very fast. Like, I was so nervous, and I was walking fast, and I was doing everything, because I was just happy to make the top 64 at the beginning, and to get all the way there in my first amateur and my first big amateur tournament, because I really never played much before that, and it was pretty overwhelming. And last year I didn't think so, but looking back on it, it was very overwhelming. I just know how to handle the pressure situations now, and and this is obviously the biggest tournament in the country for amateurs, and you have to know how to handle your emotions and your game to succeed.
A shout out to two carry bags, both players using like the slinging carry bag, one strap carry bag.
I think what Steve said there is really interesting. I feel like when you're a kid, when you're younger, you hear so much about experience and how important experience is, and you kind of don't really think much of it. Obviously, most teenagers basically all think they have the world figured out. I did too. I hear experience, and I think, no, I wasn't overwhelmed. No, I wasn't this and that. When in reality, you are, and it takes you experience to realize just how not great you felt the previous time. Obviously, that plays a huge role in him playing so well against Tiger, and obviously a considerably bigger spot the following year. But that's always the weirdest part. That's what I'm trying to. I think maybe some of the best young golfers have is they're able to notice that right away. But I'm trying to, in my golf now, like notice when, be a little bit more self-aware and notice that, yeah, you do feel a little uncomfortable. You do feel a little. This guy's got all the swag today, in these matches. He's got the Tiger club race.
He did the gut punch. Unbelievable. He had it all going.
He had it all. I wonder how it's going to
Well, I was going to ask you in match play, like this moment where you're starting to sense the momentum is shifting, right? I mean, Tiger's taking command. Do you feel like most good players would rather go first or second on shots like this?
I always want to go first. The only time you really want to go second is if the guy has made a mistake, because then you can play conservatively and not take something on, but you're never going to wait for that to happen. So in general, I feel like you'd rather just go first and keep putting pressure on him. I said, even if you hit a mediocre shot from here to 12, 15 feet, it's still, it's not like the other guy feels a huge opening. And if you hit a great shot to a couple feet, see, like even there, it's not a great shot, but it's not like Steve can all of a sudden change his line and bail. He's going to play the same shot he was going to play anyways. So I like going first. I think that it constantly puts pressure on. I know even Tiger mentioned that in his first playoff win, I think in Vegas, he hit 3-wood off the tee on 18, even though it wasn't a 3-wood hole. So he could go first into the green. I think Davis Love had to go second because he wanted to keep the pressure on him. So obviously, a lot of schools of thought, but that's kind of mine. I probably stole it more from him than made it up.
Kind of crazy. Both semifinals were college teammates in this U.S. Amateur.
And Tiger play.
Tiger played. Was it Kreibel?
Oh, Joel.
Kreibel, he played. Stanford teammate. He played in the semis.
That's wild.
And Steve played Floyd in the semis. I think when Mickelson won his amateur, he played an ASU teammate in the finals, I think is who he beat. So that's got to be so weird. I mean, you're from a college team. I could see that happening, right? Where
I played Ben on in the quarterfinals when I lost, and he ended up coming to Cal the next year. But he wasn't my teammate at the time, so yeah, that would be very, very strange. When Michael Weaver made it to the finals, I think a couple of us had a chance to. Hagee and him almost battled it out. I think in the final. So
what you try and do is
that'd be awkward.
As patient as possible and as focused as possible.
Let's listen.
Not let distractions get in the way of my playing. And it's been awfully hard with the enormous crowds and the demands of being the defending champion. So it's been awfully hard, but I've done a very good job, I think. And hopefully I'll continue.
Just wanted to give a shout out. Cisco, 2 thumbs up to Cisco. Can you give a thumbs up? How many thumbs up? Can you give 2? Oh, both thumbs up from Max. Thank you, Cisco. Cisco has been a leader in responding to the global crisis that we're all going through right now. They've pledged $225 million in products and cash and services to to aid in COVID-19 relief efforts. So thanks so much to Cisco for helping out. And of course, to the USGA for helping out get this on and just continuing to put championships up online. I mean, it's all we really have right now is to rewatch old events. And the USGA has done a great job. There's more than 250 hours of on-demand programming, including championship telecasts like this one, films, and more. If you download the USGA streaming app in partnership with our friends at Cisco, the USGA app is free and available on Amazon Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV. So if you want to watch some of the other Tiger amateur wins, you can watch that right there as well, including a 24-hour Tiger Woods marathon you can watch on the streaming app. 24 hours of Tiger, that's something Max could probably get into.
I've been very interested. You had me at Tiger Woods. I've been thinking about this a lot for some reason. Watching all these old golf, watching the old '97 Masters, watching some stuff that Golf Channel's been putting out with old tournaments, especially the ones that Tiger's won. One of the most shocking things to me, if you watch him, I don't know how much golf everybody else watches. I'm assuming if you're watching this, you watch quite a bit. Tiger is one of the most orthodox putters in history. Everything he does is very lined up. However, with his Newport 2, the one that we're used to him putting with, winning all the majors with, the toe sits super high off the ground. Like he has his hands pretty low to the putter. With every other putting style, even when he switched when he was a pro to the Nike method, when he switched to the Fang back one, and when he putts with this one, and when he putts with the one he wins the '97 Masters in, very, very high hands, a lot more conventional, like how you would teach now as far as where the putter sits. And I just wonder if he just gets his new putters so much that he changed. Like, I don't get it. Like, I feel like he's superhuman in so many areas, but every time he changes putters, he changes his kind of putting stance and style, except with his Newport, it's completely different than how he holds it now. He's obviously a great putter there, but I don't think very many people could argue that he's outside the top few best putters ever when he's got that, Scotty Cameron in his hand. So I'm very interested. It makes me just think, obviously this could be the whole mythological Tiger thing going, but makes me really think like he just has more feel than everybody else.
Joss.
Right in the heart. There's Earl.
Hey, what are your thoughts on?
Do you see that?
What do you do?
Earl sitting in the back with his feet up on the cart, just could not look less nervous.
Hey, what's up? What's your thoughts on wearing the U.S. Amateur hat to the U.S. Amateur?
I mean, dude, like the thing is you're still. I don't even Tiger. He's still a kid. Like it's still cool. Like, when I went to the USAM, I bought a few cool like a towel, and I saved the tees, and like I have all the USGA stuff. I've never seen USGA gear. So
who got here? Who is this? Is that Rich Gannon?
Dude, that might be Rich Gannon.
Look at Marino. That's Marino.
Drew Bledsoe. Hey, Drew Bledsoe, check this out. Something really drastic is about to happen. You thought you were good.
Hey, Steve Scott, you thought this comeback kind of hit you in the face? I got bad news for Drew Bledsoe in New England.
Man.
Everybody tune into that game because there's only like 4 more years of that.
This is a great hole, 8. It's really short. It's like placement off the tee, crazy green. The back portion of it you can see here is super elevated. That pin's on the top. If you go long, you are in a really bad spot. So you really need to hit the fairway more so than, obviously it's always important, but more so than most. It's just an iron or I guess nowadays a hybrid, but not a very difficult tee shot. Not exactly crazy demanding as far as, hitting an iron, but it makes it feel a little bit more important if you when you see where that pin is and how penal it can be. So yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
It's like a hard club twirl, and it almost missed the fairway. Did you see that?
He used to twirl so much more when he was younger.
Well, I mean, you think back, if you go through these amateurs, his first one when he beat Trip Keeney, and he was 6 down with like 13 holes to play and won. He says he doesn't even remember making the putt on 17 in Sawgrass. He said he doesn't remember the putt or the celebration, which is, I mean, for most of these guys, especially in 93 and 94, you're going to pull a back muscle doing that fist pump.
You got to get in the gym a little more for that.
At this point, I mean, it was a full run, the whole Tiger experience.
I'll say the first, the zone, I think is the most, I wouldn't say misunderstood, but just like ambiguous saying in sports. And I will say that the first time I truly, now that again, going back to experience, now that I truly know what it is, the first time I got in the zone was at a U.S. Amateur.
Point in my life.
And here, I'll cut myself off. You got to cut yourself.
I'm very happy to have won a lot of tournaments such as the Masters or the Open. But I think the one that sticks in my mind and the one that I have enjoyed the most over the years is the U.S. Amateur Championship.
Well, that one in Detroit was Arnie. Played that golf course. Place is awesome. It's Country Club in Detroit. Great spot. So you go ahead and finish. You won one, Andrew.
You won one. But yeah, I was just saying, like I said, you're not used to all these people being around, and obviously, big moment. You're very focused and playing great. And I was playing Harris English in round of 16 maybe, and on our last hole, I hit a 40-foot putt to win the match. I made it, and as I make it, I do this fist pump, and then the crowd roars. And it was the first time I didn't notice that there were people watching. It actually kind of scared me because I didn't realize how many people were watching me do this goofy fist pump. So but that was the first time I was like, holy cow, that's what real focus can really lock you in. It can really get you to places. I just assume that Tiger has been in that spot in his brain just so much more often than anyone else. Yeah, rejected. That's what happens. It's such a tough second shot. Got 45 feet now up a mega ridge. I will say it's very interesting. I know that most of the pros who grew up with Tiger said that the main thing he had to learn when he turned pro to be like who he is now was to control those short irons and the spin. And it looked like coach and him have been working on it with a little knockdown shot. Very curious, if he would agree with that was his main issue. Once he got his main thing he worked on once he left college and kind of asserted himself on the tour.
Yeah, he was 2 down in this match as well, the semifinal match. 2 down after 4 holes to Kreibel.
It must be difficult. It must be even more difficult being his teammate to play him in a match, knowing that I'm assuming he drums. Nice hat. Warriors hat.
Sick hat.
Wow, that's a true fan. That was before they were good, when no one was a fan.
Was this Hardaway days?
Man. Yeah, that was very lucky. He just fatted that and it hit in the rough and then trickled out.
Eagle.
Casual eagle. We play that hole as a par 4, so I'm going to give him a birdie.
Okay. We'll give him a half birdie, half eagle.
Great birdie.
Look how many people are there, dude.
Crazy. That is just nuts.
So Tiger, this is nuts. His final 29 holes played in this match, he hit 28 greens in regulation. 28 of his final 29. And you and I've had this conversation about match play before, but a lot of the time people think, you play Tiger, you do need to make birdies, and as you can tell, occasionally make an eagle. but you can win holes with pars occasionally, and you can give holes away easily with the bogey. If he's hitting every green in regulation, it puts a lot of pressure on you to do the same thing.
Hitting greens in match play is so important because it's just constant pressure on the guy. Obviously, it's not going to guarantee anything, but if you, again, like you said before, if you're going first, it's constant pressure. You feel like you can't make a mistake, and Tiger obviously does that. I know Luke Donald talks about that when Tiger played with him in the final group at Medina at the PGA, in the, I think 2005 or something. But he just was talking about how, what the most impressive thing Tiger did was it wasn't really that impressive. He kept hitting the middle of the green, and I'm out there trying to hit it in the hole and make some birdies. And Tiger's like, yeah, you're going to beat you before I beat me. So, have a good day today, and I'll see you on 18. So that's a big part of Tiger's, I think, when he comes back, is just you constantly feel like you're anxious and waiting.
Somebody asked Max after we were discussing the amateur hat. Somebody said, "Will you wear a Masters hat in your first Masters in November?"
I would have to think that Titleist would be the most mad ever if that was the one time I decided to not wear their hat. So no, I will not be, but I will wear that hat probably every day forever after.
Okay, perfect. Somebody else asked, "What's the best U.S. amateur venue that you played when you were out there going through the amateur ranks?"
I really enjoyed Cherry Hills. The history of Cherry Hills is really cool. The golf course was very fun. Also, Brookline at the Country Club, where I think the U.S. Open's going in a little bit. That was awesome. That was one of the hardest golf courses I've ever played. The setup was brutal, and it was a beautiful just golf course and facility and all things added in. But I played two others. I played the Erin Hills, and I played Chambers Bay, which were obviously a bit more unique.
Man, good chance there.
That's a bad miss, man. Again, this is what I want to ask him, but like, when you're playing someone like Tiger, do you just feel like so much pressure to never make a mistake? Especially when, like you had mentioned before, Tiger's been having some momentum. Like, he's clearly figured something out, he and Butch. So I wonder if, like, you have putts like that, and it's building so much in you that, like, I need this one. This is my chance to kind of, put my foot on the throat just a little bit, and then you miss it. You see how frustrated he is, and seems like a pretty mild-mannered dude. So it's got to be so difficult playing Tiger, just because you, like I said, you have that. He's a mythological creature. You feel like he's never going to make mistakes.
And he didn't. He didn't miss.
And he did.
Miss one green.
That part.
basically missed one. I mean, seriously. I mean, it's that's why, to me, you see a reaction like that.
Yeah.
And we'll have Steve come on here in a little bit, but I mean, you take another hole away, and all of a sudden you're 3 up, and you feel it's crazy how one hole can feel so different versus one stroke when you play stroke play.
That's a great point. Yeah, because each hole feels like a little tournament, and obviously you don't beat Tiger very often, so when you can beat him on a hole, it just feels so much bigger. Whereas if Tiger makes par there, you make par there, birdie there. It's not like you make the birdie and all of a sudden feel this jubilation, but you do in match play, because it does feel, I don't know why, but it feels like such a bigger deal. This is such a messed up tee shot. I can't even explain it. No idea where to hit it. I still don't know. There's a center bunker. You can go right of it, but then it makes it way longer. You can go left of it, but the fairway feels like it's, 2 yards wide. He probably flies it far enough to fly most of that middle bunker, but every time I'm on this hole, I do not know. I don't know if I should cut it, draw it, hit a 3-wood, hit a driver. I'm lost. Yeah, all right, just fly everything, I guess.
It's going to be right there. It's there.
I mean, that's so far. That we might be playing a new tee now, but I don't know that spot.
It's 470 and 96 par 4. I mean, it's not nothing.
One of my favorite parts about this golf tournament, and it looks like it's like this for this event, similar to when the Web.com tour played there for the final season event, it gets very, very firm. So it does value, like it puts value in landing the ball in the right spot in the fairway because it will get way down there. So it's, obviously that ball rolled quite a bit. But I like that because at the same point with this tee shot, I'm assuming Steve doesn't hit it quite as far. If he takes Tiger's line, it really needs to be turning left of that center bunker, or else it will bounce into the middle one. Yeah, so he goes right here, and I mean, again, obviously you don't ever want to miss the fairway. You have an open lane to the green, but it's just so much longer. It's just a longer way in. But Tiger had that advantage. He could fly the left bunker, which is, I'm guessing, like 270, and it's an advantage. Even if you were to miss the fairway just left over that bunker, you're going to be coming over the trees, but you have a 9 or 8 iron in instead of Steve's going to have like a 5 or 4 iron in, I think, from back there.
I'm not going to go back and watch anything here since we're rolling on, but Steve Scott's tee shot landed in a sea of khaki shorts. It was like 8 pair of khaki shorts. It was white top khaki shorts. Showing the last player there you see that went back to back in the amateur. Of course, Tiger one-ups that.
My wife, who happens to be in the booth today, just fist pumped because she's been here and knew what golf course this was. So she needs that to be known.
Oh, break it down. Break it down for us, Max.
Break it down. He really shallows it at the top, which is really nice. Nice long. This is an old school golf swing, nice and long. That one got a little too stuck, and he obviously has a high hands release. He does that all week. What's funny is, we could pick that apart and say that's not the way exactly to swing it, but it was working. His timing was great, but it's always amazing. The more nervous you get, we talked about this on our Get a Grip podcast. The more timing that's involved when you're nervous, the harder that becomes to work. That's why Phil Mickelson and Vijay Singh are so impressive. But you look at people with great mechanics don't have a lot of face rotation, and those people seem to win a lot and play great pressure golf. So I'm not saying you can't do it, but that's it's tougher when you get on the back nine with Tiger Woods.
All right, so I got a great question, by the way.
All right.
Mark,
bragging about knowing the golf course. Sorry.
Can Lacey come on? Lacey, you know what? I want Lacey to break down the next par 4. Give us the full breakdown of it.
Are you gonna come in the
Hey,
No, I can't. Hi. Oh, is that the one that you did so far left for that?
Yeah, all right, you can get out of here.
No.
She's reminding all the bad shots.
Is that not it?
Hey, Max.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was right. You should talk about that. Crazy shot.
All right, what was the question, Shane? Lacey likes to bring up my snap book.
I can't believe she has Scotty on her back. Scotty weighs like 150 pounds. Mark Daniel asked, "Is it?" And I might debate you on this, so I'm going to see where you go.
All right.
Is it more difficult to win the U.S. Amateur or an alternate field PGA Tour event?
Oh, I'll always the amateur. I think match play. Well, okay, I got questions. Is it like if Steve Scott from college went to play an alternate field event? Is that what we're getting at?
Sure.
Not like me. Like if I went and played the USAM, I guess no. That's probably the question. I would say the USAM. I think match play is so difficult because, for instance, Tiger wins the medalist, then he wins all the matches. Obviously, wins them all, but he wins them all up to here, and then he's 5 down through 18 holes. So he's not getting a benefit by probably beating Steve Scott for the week by 15, perhaps. Like I don't know, I'm making that number up, but he was probably beating him by quite a few in stroke play. Stroke play is easier in general. Match play is very difficult. If you and I, that's what we always say with like pros playing AMs in like a little match at home. If I play you in stroke play, I'm going to give you more. You should take more shots because in match play, I don't know. Was that your thinking as well? Just a difficult match?
Yeah. I contend that that's Stacy there.
That's a great shot.
So I've always contended that I think the amateur is the hardest event to win in all of golf.
Okay, so I have one more that's harder. The Western Am is harder.
Yes. That's fair.
And that's the craziest tournament of all time.
Another Jack
It's like
Nicklaus,
cuts from 156
win
to
as many as I
64 to
can,
16, and then you go to
preferably
match
majors,
play, and that's 36
and
a
it'd be a
day.
great start if I could win this U.S. Amateur Championship now.
So yeah, so say it one more time. Say how the Western Am's format is.
The Western Am, I can't remember exactly, but it's a 4 days of stroke play to qualify. There's a cut after 2 days, and then there's another cut after the next 2 rounds, which is 36 holes, and then they cut to 16 people, and then you do 36 holes a day, match play till there's a champion. So you're playing like 3 straight days, 36 holes a day. It's wild. But I think Tiger won that, and I don't know, when Ryan Moore had that great amateur year, he won the national championship, the Publix, the USM, and the one I think that gets left out a lot is the Western Am. I'm pretty sure he won that too, and it's just like, come on, man. Like, this is, not only are you a match play god, but like you're a monster. I'm assuming Tiger conceded that. I like this old school, put the putter on the ground flat while you read it. That was an old school move. We don't see that anymore.
Yeah, it's like plumb bobbing. You know, it's just, pro plumb bobbers anymore. I don't really feel like that's a big thing.
It's definitely running out.
Somebody joined us a little bit late and said, where is this being played? This is Pumpkin Ridge golf course that Max knows a little bit more
Witch
about.
Hollow, I think. There's 2 courses there. This is Witch Hollow, the more popular one, I think.
And just outside of Portland, Oregon.
So 2 down to get to 1 down at the turn.
Full to high.
Yeah. Listen, he's coming, Steve. I don't know what to tell you, bud. He's coming.
Look at him.
I mean, he flipped it. He just won the first 9 4 up. Like, that's pretty good. So now, if you're Steve, you're trying your best not to kick yourself for missing the putt on 8. Like, that's all I bet you he's thinking about. Like, you kind of gave a hole away in your head, and now what Tiger does best is he sees a little opening, and he's like, all right, I'm taking advantage, and I'm gonna punish you for it.
All right, so that was the high fist pump, that was the kick, that was a low, and then the roundhouse. And he does another one here. I think he does a 2-hander here. Yeah.
Oh my man.
You know what? Look at this. 16 under on the back.
Yeah, it's an intimidating number. This great hole. This is actually going to be awesome for with the getting to talk to Steve. But brutal par 3 when it's firm. Very little area to land the ball. Huge backstop on the back of the green. Green runs really hard back to front. The issue is if the ball hops over the back, obviously it means you are dead unless you hit the pin. That's a bit of a foreshadowing moment here, but you're dead unless you hit the pin. So great par 3, long. I know the tee's up 1, but you're still going to be hitting at least a mid to long iron. Also, fun fact, if you played the back tee, I know there's no one playing today for them, but if you play the back tee in a stroke play event, golf balls from the 11th tee will almost hit you 80% of the time you're on the tee. It's a frightening tee box to stand on. The hole's hard, and you also are kind of, playing with fire back there. So just a little nugget for everybody.
Our good friend, Kayla, who has helped us out so much with this, had a great question herself. She's sending in questions to me as we do this. Her own question. Who had the best on-course fits in the 90s?
Ooh, what do you think? You were much, much, much older in the 90s than I.
I kind of think Woody Austin's outfits in the 90s were pretty on point.
I'm okay with that. I mean, Payne Stewart's hard to leave off. I mean,
Payne looked good. A guy that I felt like always just looked good in what he wore. I thought Norman was a guy that just always looked intimidating in his outfits,
I'm okay with that. I liked Phil. Phil used to wear the chain, didn't he?
Yeah.
I like that.
Tiger's got a chain on it.
I like his swing. It's very flowy.
I played some golf with him.
That's just such a bad bounce.
I played some golf with Steve over the years because he does a lot of stuff with us at Fox. And I mean, he hits it still just unbelievably good.
I love his action. Yeah, that bounce stinks. That's the firmness of Pumpkin Ridge. But if that ball stays about pin high where I thought it could have, it's a significantly easier chip. Now this is right straight away from the side. You got a little bit of a right to left. So, like I said, pretty much all but dead here. Tiger is got all the momentum in the world. He's probably licking his chops, knowing that Steve's most likely going to have 20 feet for par. Tiger's, got a pretty tough putt for birdie. So Tiger's in the driver's seat by a mile here.
This is when I as a host, I go, let's listen.
Unbelievable.
You know what?
That strut going too.
That wouldn't have gone in if it had the noodle in the hole.
Very true.
Right.
So I know this is pre all Tiger that we all know, and like again, all the stories, but looking back on the history of all of this, I can't think of very many people who ever pulled a Tiger on Tiger, who made the impossible shot. Wai Yang did it at the PGA when he chipped in for eagle, but that just never happened. So I know this is early, but it's shocking to see someone actually do something cool on the back nine with Tiger.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's such a good point. I mean, we rarely, if ever, right?
I can literally, Rich Beam did it. Yeah. YE did it. I can't think of very many other big spots where somebody else pulled off a Tiger against Tiger.
So when Beam won the PGA, apparently Tiger was on the 15th tee with Steve Williams and said, what do we got to do? And Steve said, we got to birdie the last 4 holes, and Tiger birdied the last.
Yeah, birdie the last 4. Yeah, No Laying Up had on their podcast with Rich Beam, and it's wild that Tiger could just do that. And he's one Rich Beam bomb away from getting into a playoff.
Right.
This putt is it's amazing match play, but and like you said, the feel of how big holes are. He makes that chip. It's an impossible chip. This putt is almost equally as impossible. It breaks 42 feet.
Look at him. He just walked by. He just said, "You got
it." The ball, man. Leave it.
Phil, I've heard rumors that Phil was big on the conceding longer putts during his amateur run when he won the amateur, and he had a birdie putt inside.
I've heard that too.
And I remember when Casey Wittenberg, I mentioned Wittenberg already, Wittenberg would hit the putts. That was awesome.
That was pretty sick.
That was really that's a pretty good box job.
That was nice. I'm a fan.
But Wittenberg would start walking off the green as the putts were going to go in.
Yeah, I've heard that story too. The ball's about to go in, and he just takes off. See you later, boys. 11th hole is one of the cooler par 5s. You literally have to draw it, unless you lay back a little shorter. But that's why I see here's what I'm talking about, Shane. You see a 10T over here on the left. That's just where the balls go all the time. But you want to hook it around this bunker, and if so, you have if you can get on the left side of the fairway, you don't really need to fade it into the green. But if you're in the middle to right side of the fairway, these 2 huge pine trees, I think, I'm not a big tree guy, but I think they're pine trees, get in the way, and you have to either decide to cut it around it, draw it around it, or go straight through it. Tiny green, but this hole is the tee shot is very difficult. If you hit it straight, it runs through the fairway. He's hitting 3-wood here. So he's obviously going to kind of take that through the fairway out of play, but going to have a long iron to a small green. So you kind of got to pick your position.
You made a huge 90s mistake there, I think.
Is that not a 3-wood?
I did that one time watching something.
No, come on, that's bigger.
The drivers were like this big.
I mean, you're probably right.
But I don't know. I don't know if it was 3 or not. I'm just saying it. It's
No,
so
you might
easy to
be
go.
right. When I think about it, you're probably right. It looked like it was teed down so low, I couldn't believe it.
Dude, look at the fence behind Tiger.
I mean, the all plaid is a lot of cool.
That person's now like,
Wide open shorts at the bottom. I've never understood that.
where's that at?
Like to the left, like where it just gets wider as it gets down your knee. We've been draw, fly the bunker. I mean, that's 85 yards past Steve's. Steve had to have hit 3-wood, man. God, I hope he did.
We'll go with the 3-wood just to make Steve feel good.
I mean, that was so far. Oh. I feel you, dude. Whatever it is, I feel you.
I wonder if we get a number on this. I wonder if there's a
number. So this again, like you can not bail. You could lay up short left and have a pitch up the middle of the green. But it's a tiny, tiny green. But the green slopes right to left. So from the left side of the fairway or from pin high left, you actually are working into the hill. He looks like he's taking it on. He's gonna have to gap these 2 trees or hit a big old slice.
Hey, so
if you go through the trees.
You were mentioning you're not, not a big tree guy. Do you have a favorite tree, like a kind you go to tree?
Pine. There's a lot of them. It seems pretty baseline. A Douglas fir, I'll throw out there here and there.
Nice.
Yes, these unbelievable shots. Perfect shot. Perfect lead. Perfect everything. That's awesome. He cut it around the tree. Didn't quite cut it enough. Obviously a 3-wood. Ball's on the ground. Well, I guess obviously, but probably. Lovely, lovely golf shot. He has, again, match play. You're thinking about what the other guy's doing. Tiger's looking at him thinking he's making birdie. If not eagle, he just pitched it in. So Tiger's 2 down. Got to start getting something going. Needs at least 4, you would think, to have this hole. This hole also holds a very special place in my heart. I was right here with where Tiger is when I had to have a all-world back 9 to get into the web playoffs. And I thought about this shot. I'm not going to lie. I was telling you, Shane, I thought about this shot for some reason.
You thought about Tiger shot when you had.
Yeah, I just remembered it. And I remember thinking, man, there's 2 ways to go about this. You go through these trees, or someone like me, I like to cut the ball so I can go around it and hit it a lot higher and stop it. If you watch this shot, well, I won't ruin it, but it's very difficult to go through these trees and hit a draw and stop it to this front right flag. Very difficult, which was the same pin I had. So again, you need something that's going to come down. With like the saying goes, like a butterfly with sore feet. Tiger is probably a little too far on the right side of the fairway to hit the big cut. So it looks like he's going to go straight through the middle of them. Also tough is it points you long right of the screen, and long right is absolutely dead. So you got to make sure that this thing turns back to the middle of the green at least. Lovely shot. These are really tough putt, but obviously anything on the green's great. You see how it falls off very hard to the right. That's why Steve's in such a great spot. But that's why Tiger's shot's even better. That ball gets hung right. Like I said, it points you right there. You leave yourself almost nothing. So obviously a great shot from Tiger. Is a tractor just sitting there?
Just don't even move the tractor. That tractor get moved.
Yeah. It knows better.
So that was his second. This was this morning 18. This is his third.
Looks like only 10 yards in front of where his second is. So they didn't move the pins, I guess, did they? They look like the same pin.
They don't do that. They don't move them in championships. Yeah, they'll move some tees occasionally, but they don't move the flags.
Very interesting. Man, he butter raising Tiger all over the place.
All day. So our good pal Justin Ray, who does an unbelievable job at the 15th Club, sent us a whole bunch of information, and was just messaging that that this would be Tiger's 18th straight U.S. Amateur match won. Harvey Ward's record was 17 straight from 1955 to 58. I don't believe that number will ever be broke. See, anybody's gonna, it's just a different time. I mean, if you won 2 amateurs, you would turn professional. If you win 1, you're probably going to turn professional right after, right?
You would think,
yeah. You go through the process of playing in some of the events you get into, and obviously some of the rules have changed with those. But it's just hard to ever imagine somebody wanting to remain professional at that level. I mean, Stuart Hagestad's a guy that's kind of a professional amateur now who is playing in amateur events, but that's kind of the avenue he's taking. But he's a really good amateur player. But I mean, nobody that's at this elite, I can win multiple amateur level isn't going to turn pro and take the benefits of what comes with that world.
Sure. It's tough to turn down the opportunity and the money, the signing money that you'll probably get.
By the way, Max, as I was reading stuff about this, stuff that was posted in 94, 95, and 96, the journalist, Tiger had committed to staying at Stanford for 4 years. He told people all the time, I'm gonna finish here, I'm gonna be here all the way through, and that was way more normal than exiting out after a couple of years and turning professional. So, I read a couple of times people talking, can he win 5 U.S. amateurs in a row? Can he win 6 U.S. amateurs? Because it wasn't as normal to just go to the professional ranks. It wasn't the money to do it either. Tiger got the big Nike money. Phil Knight's in the gallery here following Tiger at this amateur right now that we're watching. So it was a different time. Now you're going to turn pro because you're going to get 7 figures from somebody, right?
Yeah, that's just so wild to hear that. At some point, he had to gotten the feeling that I'm not getting any better. Playing again, like I've done it. He's done everything. He won the national championship. I think both years he played. He's won the USAM every year ever. I mean, just at some point you got to go play against the best in the world, and obviously he makes that decision after this year.
So you saw the chip in on the last hole, this Tiger putt for eagle here. Jaime Diaz called this the best amateur of all time, and you're going to start to realize why.
Tough putt, too. Comes up and over a crown and breaks hard right, very fast. Right in the... Yeah, all right, Steve. I see your jump, and I raise you 50 uppercuts.
It's 50 feet.
It's just such our fun. I wish it, again, you saw how much it breaks at the end. It's really a severe slope. Obviously, a great spot for Tiger for an eagle putt, but not one you ever think about making. Steve did everything right there, left it below the hole, pitched it 2 feet, 3 feet below the hole. Tiger is going to Tiger, man. He's just going to do it. It's amazing he brings this out every big event. Just every one he does multiple wild, crazy things. I like that. I like the grin. You're waiting for it. You gotta laugh a little bit. Like, yeah, I mean, it's Tiger. It's what I signed up for. This is one of the best short par 3s I've ever played. It's very, very short. I mean, it's a pitching wedge to a 9-iron at the most. Water short left. The green is sectioned so that you have your front right that pitches back to front. You miss it right of that, though. It also is a little right to left, so the ball likes to run into the water if you're pitching from long right. Back left is obviously difficult. As you can see, it wraps around the water. But this pin, I would say, is actually one of the easier pins. You can hit it long of that pin and have a lot more room for error. Obviously, you can hit a good one close, but with the firm greens, you're going to have to land it on a perfect number. But great short par 3. Like I said, this pin feels fairly easy, and you can move it 10 feet 12 feet back left of that, and it feels very difficult. I always wonder, man, after he does these huge fist pumps and celebrations, how he like brings himself back down.
Right. I mean, Butch Harmon, that was something they worked on. Butch said that he would get, it was something when he turned pro, that him getting so high was just as bad for his game going forward as getting too low, getting ready to bring down himself. So there are moments, that as you see Tiger later in his career, he gets fired up on individual shots. But those fist pumps you saw, they're the one you saw at Sawgrass and the Amateur. You didn't see the full running fist pumps, I'd say, into the mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, again, that's why this is the easiest spin on the green. I mean, Tiger took the safe play and threw it way long, spun it back. This way, I mean, obviously not the best shot ever, but very basic leave. Obviously not the best putt there, but, still requires a great shot to hit it close, but you don't need to be so perfect to make an easy three.
I mean, you start getting these feelings like every putt he's going to hit goes in.
It's sure not a very good feeling.
No, I mean, it's you're playing against a guy, and you're playing against your own mind, thinking of the guy being perfect. It's like he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss these putts. So now I've got to make everyone. I've got to hit every shot. I've got to take on a couple of flags, and maybe I don't want to. So ain't easy.
Yeah, that's the thing. We build them up so much in our head, and obviously he's still human. Like, he still misses putts. Even when you go through this tournament, it's not like he's made everything. He didn't hit every shot perfect, but you get that in your head and you start thinking like, yeah, this dude's he's gonna bury this putt. This putt breaks 3 feet to the right, and Steve is back there freaking out, I'm sure, in his head a little bit, like we all would be, thinking, man, this one's gonna go in too. And it's just, you just never feel very comfortable, I feel like, playing with Tiger, especially when it's the back nine in the final round.
Make it. Didn't make it.
Just a great putt.
Live to see another day, and excited. We mentioned earlier we're going to have Steve Scott join us. I think he's about to jump in right now, and so we'll get a firsthand account of all that's going on from the guy who's out there with him. Oh, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing? How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing really good.
Yeah. You guys like watching this? You guys have such great, obviously, chemistry. It's really fun to watch for us. I don't know how you guys feel looking back on it, but it seems like you guys are laughing, having a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great. It was a fun time. I mean, look, it was about as nervous as I've ever been, and Christy had caddied for me in the U.S. Open a couple months prior, so that was really cool. Yeah, it was just it was one of those arenas, those situations that it just kind of blows your mind of how amazing it was. And as the further we get away from it, and I mean, this this year, 25-year anniversary next year in 21. I mean, like, holy smokes, like,
Yeah.
what a match. And the fact that you guys are showing this for your first stream, really cool, really happy to be on.
Oh, man, it's a pleasure to watch. That was part of my one of the questions I wanted to ask. Had you ever played in front of, I mean, I knew when I got to my first U.S. Amateur, I think we were probably the same age. I had never played in front of maybe 25, 30 people. All of a sudden you're in front of thousands. Had you ever done anything like that?
Yeah, I guess, I mean, in the U.S. Open at Oakland Hills, I qualified. I just turned 19 in July, so just before the U.S. Open, I was only 18. I made a 30-footer at Bay Hill to qualify and make the last spot in sectionals, and had a chance to play at Oakland Hills, made the cut. I shot 71, 73, made the cut. I'm like 45th place going into the weekend as an 18-year-old. Like, totally blew my mind.
That's awesome. I have to imagine the Tiger effect is even more dramatic. I always tend to think that whoever's playing with him kind of realizes that everyone's there to see, you know, the cat. Maybe not so much you. Did you feel that at all while you were playing?
Well, yeah, we felt a lot of people. I mean, you can answer this. I mean, you know, what did you feel? I mean, we definitely felt. I mean, I'm obviously playing, trying to shoot the score. She's trying to help me and keep my mind in check. What did you feel?
Well, I can definitely say that in the morning round, definitely heard more "Go Tiger, go Tiger," and then, but as the afternoon kept unfolding, there was definitely more "Go Steve, go Steve."
That's awesome. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I was going to ask, were you a big fist pumper and reaction guy normally and brought it to this match, or is that a little play on Tiger doing that stuff to you?
No, I mean, no. You've seen it in that clip from the semifinal match. Yeah, you're right. I kind of gave like, it wasn't like the full uppercut. It was kind of like the side slasher movie, right? Yeah, it was, you know, you get really pumped up in those situations. And, you know, when you're 18, 19, 20 years old, I mean, it's the adrenaline is higher. Like the situation, you just get into it more. And so it was really cool. Yeah, it was the adrenaline just pumps. And sometimes you don't even know what you're doing. And, you know, you just do it. And you know, you're just so happy that you made the shot that you wanted to make.
Well, I mean, at this point for you guys, I just want to, you know, you get the chip in, then Tiger makes the eagle. So you've got this emotional back and forth for the both of you as everything's happening. At what point, or was there a point you were like, I'm going to win the damn U.S. Amateur? And then was there ever a point where you went, oh my goodness, maybe I'm not going to win the U.S. Amateur, because it was so close?
It was. And I mean, even watching it now, I still think I'm going to win. Like, I got the momentum. You know, we see a couple things will start to happen here in a few minutes. And it's kind of hard to believe that, you know, I didn't win. I guess if I'm playing against anybody else being 5 up after 18 holes and shoot the equivalent of 2 under par on the second 18, if you told me anybody that they weren't going to win, they call BS on that. And so, you know, but it's Tiger Woods. He's the other 1 out of the 100, right? I think Johnny Miller said something like that in the telecast. So Tiger has just kept doing Tiger things. And, you know, he turns pro the day after we played. He says, if I can beat Steve Scott, I'm ready to go. And he did that. And so anyway, that was cool.
Had you played with him before?
You know, it was a really serendipitous thing about 8 months prior in a collegiate event. It was at the Arthur Hills course in South Carolina. We played in the final round together, and it was the first time I ever was paired with him before, and the only time. And I'm glad I had that moment, because he went out and shot 70 that day and ended up winning the tournament individually. I went out and shot 80, and I was nervous. I was watching him, and I'm sure you've played with him, you know, a few times out there now, and you know, it's hard not to watch him. So I took the attitude, and, you know, Chris and I talked about this a lot before the match, and we said, you know, I'm not going to watch him hit a shot. I couldn't get caught up in what he was doing. I mean, you can follow up on that, because you were my brain out there while I was trying to hit the shots.
Yeah, I just echo that. I remember the night before him saying, you have to make me stick to my game plan. So when Steve hits a driver, hit the driver when he's supposed to, play an iron when he's supposed to, and that's it. Doesn't matter what Tiger's doing, he's just going to stick to the game plan.
Yeah, so that's what I was wondering. So obviously Tiger's length, especially back in the 90s and early 2000s, was his kind of big claim to fame and his most intimidating factor. I was curious how much that affected you. Obviously getting to play with it before, it probably wouldn't be quite as eye-opening, although that's still shocking. And if that did kind of, obviously it sounds like you guys had a great game plan to stick to what you were going to do, but did that cause any concern or make you think that maybe you needed to adjust something you maybe did the day before, now playing somebody who hits it obviously tremendously far?
Yeah, no, really. I mean, I had to play my game. I had to hit my driver. You talked about the driver before, and you thought I hit a 3-wood. Got my trusty TaylorMade burner bubble. This is the one right here. This thing.
There you go, Shane.
This looks like the 5-woods right now. That was a driver off that 11-hole driver 3-wood. But yeah, these things are so tiny, and driving the golf ball. I mean, I know, Max, you're 29 years old, and you were about 6 years old when this match happened. But so you don't really know golf that with these small heads. I even played with persimmons, right? I'm not that old. I'm 42, but a nice little wear mark there.
Yes, that's lovely. I like that.
I drove it pretty well with this thing.
That's beautiful.
Now my pea shooter flies 270, and I can't contend with you guys out there at the Wells Fargo like I did.
So Christy, I was asking Steve this. I want your thoughts. At what point did you think we're going to win? I mean, some of your reactions after the chip in, just your honest reactions are some of the most fun parts of rewatching this thing.
Honestly, I thought he was going to win the whole day. Even towards the end, I didn't have any reason to believe otherwise. I was not tainted by the whole buildup of Tiger. I just wasn't. I was maybe a little bit ignorant to it. So that was to my benefit. But to me, I mean, once Steve made the match play, he was this completely different golfer, and it was just like cruise control for him.
That's awesome.
So I had no doubt.
I shouldn't even have been in match play though. Here's your stat. You probably pull out, but maybe I'll jump the gun on you. And Justin's probably gotten this one too. But I shot 79 the first round of stroke play.
No way. At which hole or at the other course?
That was on this course. I shot 79. Shoot 66 to make the match play by one shot. I missed a 23 playoff by a shot. And then I get in and I made everything. In match play, the hole was the size of a bucket. And, I didn't care who I was playing. It was going in.
That's awesome. I love the putting stroke. You seem to make everything. So I don't do a lot of research, just like full disclosure. So see yourself somewhat on a short list of things I've researched. When I looked at your career following this event, I was very obviously impressed, a little shocked, no offense, but I didn't know a whole lot of what happened in the late 90s other than Tiger Woods winning every golf tournament known to man. You have a great college career. You win a couple times on the Canadian Tour. You finished your college career as #1 AM in the world. I was wondering, obviously you're a tremendous golfer, all kinds of accolades, but I was just wondering how a lot of people leave playing Tiger, and I've heard this from his old teammates, thinking, I don't think I could ever do that. I can't be that, and I need to adjust my golf game. I need to change it. You obviously took it for the positive ways. Man, I could have, should have, would have beat this guy. Then you see him go on to do some tremendous things. Did that spark something in you and give you a lot of confidence? How did you obviously turn all of this around into just such a phenomenal college career?
Well, look, it was, other than not winning that Havermeyer Trophy and having it sit right on my mantle back here, it's everything was positive about that day. We're going to see something on the 34th hole that probably was the most positive thing that has happened and has carried with me throughout. So with the ball marking and remarking incident, but I just kept trying to play and kept trying to get better. What's really interesting,
Hey, good read.
And so what was interesting though is that I kept trying to play my game, and I turned pro in the fall of 1999, right after playing in the Walker Cup like you did, and had a chance to but the next year the golf ball changes, right? The Pro V1 comes out. It's a less spinning ball. You noticed earlier that, and you noticed throughout, I don't hit anything. I don't hit a fade. My ball turned right to left, 5-10 yards. That was like a straight ball for me. And my ball did not go left to right. And so when you get a ball then that doesn't spin as much, I don't know. I think that maybe played into how my game evolved and maybe not a great way. But I certainly tried and kept going and won a couple times the Canadian Tour. The golf courses are a little shorter. When I got out there and the golf courses kept getting longer, 2003, 4, 5, to play with these guys, you need the length. You know it every week that you need massive length out there, and it's a huge attribute. And the longest players are the best players in the world. So, to not have that in my arsenal, and I fly the ball 270 now, and I'm happy with that, and it runs out to 290 or whatever, and it's what I do. But to be a competitive player. When I kept going, you have to get that ball out there in the air 290 or 300, or else you might as well pack it in.
Considering you're obviously a drawer of the ball, you must have really loved this place. Obviously, this hole as well, 14, you got to turn it right to left or you can't hit the fairway. I think there's quite a few tee shots like that, especially on this back 9, or actually starting on, I guess, 6. So 14, we play this hole as a par 4. I hate this hole. I like to cut the ball. You must have felt some kind of comfort on this tee that I have never felt ever when I've stood up here. These trees are in my way.
It's amazing. And Tiger hits 3-wood here, and I hit driver, and that's the only way I can actually hit second into the green here. Yeah, right. And he did that a lot during the second 18, by the way. He hit a lot of 2-irons, and I had to hit driver, so he would hit first into the green. I know you mentioned that a little earlier too, but yeah, every hole out there seemed to, if it didn't favor a draw, it didn't hurt a draw.
Exactly, yeah.
Pretty much, if it was it seemed like every hole, every green kind of sat right to left, or almost every single shot out there really fit my eye. So it just fit my ball flight, and I think that's a big reason why I had the success that I did, for sure.
Very cool. That's cool to hear. I like when golf courses match up to eyes, because that's why I've loved this golf course, never played it really poorly, but I've always, when looking back, I always wonder why I didn't play it really well, considering I liked the setup. And then I realized off the tee, I don't love to draw the golf ball, and holes like this, holes like 6, 9, just don't feel comfortable. 11, they're just awkward tee shots.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, you gotta hit a sweeper over there, or else it doesn't work. And you'll see Tiger actually, when he does take drive on a few of these holes, especially the 36th hole, the 18th where dog legs left to right, you're gonna see him hit a power cut off the left trees, which just blew my mind that he would have the gall to hit that shot. And yeah, it's just because he fought a bit of a snap hook in the morning. Because back then you noticed where his golf swing was across the line a lot with a shut face, and all of a sudden, his misses were, could be pretty good to the left when he hit the driver. So part of the reason why he did hit that 2-iron a lot in the afternoon was just to get it in play like that.
Yeah, one of my proudest moments, I had to birdie the last hole to get in the playoffs or whatever one year, and I did that too. 18 is a problem for me. And yeah, I had snap hooked it in the left hazard the day prior and got up there, did the same thing you mentioned with Tiger. It's hard, but you end up aiming in the left hazard and hitting a cut off the hazard, and you got to pull it off. I know Tiger's kind of made a career out of doing stuff like that when it matters. So interesting to hear. That makes sense. He's probably in 2-iron to just not run through the runouts, and obviously you can still hit it out there, pretty far with that 2-iron.
Yeah, the course was running pretty quick that week, so it was fast and firm, and you get as much roll as you want. His 2-iron was getting out there 260, 270.
Awesome.
Let's hear Phil here.
It would be a risk, to say the least, because he doesn't have a card, and he hasn't proven to himself or anybody else that he can win immediately on tour. Now he's going to win eventually. There's no question. I'm not doubting that, but I'm just questioning the timing, if now is the time.
Well, interesting commentary by Phil Mickelson, who won as an amateur.
Hey,
Tucson Open,
Shane, do you
so
think
he
it was a good time?
that was a year and a half before he turned pro, so I think he can speak.
Yeah, you know what? Listen,
Listen,
golf's an easy sport to doubt because it's so hard. There's so many people, and I give everybody a career mulligan on doubting or calling out Tiger anything for his decision on pro. Steve, I had a question. Something we were talking about earlier about this particular U.S. Amateur, and it was about playing, your collegiate teammates in a big match, and you guys both had college teammates face off in the semifinals. How weird was that? Uncomfortable? How do you get into your game knowing the other guys so well, or was it in a way a benefit because you know things that they do, or maybe when they get frustrated or when they lose their concentration?
Yeah, for sure. I played Robert Floyd, who was my teammate. He was a year ahead of me at University of Florida, and Tiger played Joel Crider, who was mentioned earlier, Stanford teammates, and yeah, they were. It was kind of strange for sure. It was, it was probably a little bit more awkward afterwards because I know Robert. I mean, look, whoever wins those matches is going to the Masters, and I know very much that Robert wanted to play with his father, who was a past Masters champion. He wanted to play with him in practice rounds and do all that stuff, and so you certainly feel for a guy like that, and. But when you're in a match like that, you just, you do what you can do. And I ended up winning the last 3 holes of that match to win 3 and 2. And you saw the chip in earlier, and that was a fun way to finish that. But yeah, to know you're going to the Masters and do all that, it was very cool. But yeah, I guess, playing your teammates is not the easiest thing in the world.
Right.
Do you guys have a moment, you two, in whether it's this day or the tournament where, you guys have like that lasting memory of something somebody said? We always have our player caddy, and my favorite things my caddy Joe's ever said to me. You guys have one that just sticks out that you just said the right thing at the right time, and Steve really, took to it? Was there anything like that?
I don't know. She gave me a lot of back massages. Those help.
Those help. My caddy doesn't do that. I need to.
Doesn't do that?
That's a great shot, by the way.
Smile. So,
hey, Christy, was Steve? Was he? And I want you to be honest here. Was he confident? Was he cocky? Was he? Where was he in between the years? Once match play started into this match, because when I watch you, Steve, I see a dude that thinks he can beat this guy, and never at any point do you ever look rattled. And I feel like it takes a level of confidence to get there.
I mean, Steve he was very cocky when he was on the golf course. I mean, he just thought nobody could mess with him. He had this built up a mental fortress, and he was untouchable in his head.
That's awesome.
I guess you have to be, right? You're your own team. You're your own corporation, right? I mean, obviously, when you're playing professionally, you certainly are your own corporation. And so, yeah, I mean, nobody else, Tiger wasn't going to try to, cheer me on or anything. And, frankly, we said basically nothing all day. I said, good shot. And he said, thanks. And that was it. I mean,
he has that story with Tony Finau from the Masters last year. So that's pretty cool. So for us now, for me, growing up watching him, he's, like I've mentioned a million times, he's a mythological creature to so many of us. At that time, he'd obviously had an unbelievable resume and done many great things, but was he that yet? Like, did you guys look at him like, holy cow, that's Tiger? Or was it, obviously you had a phenomenal college career, phenomenal golfer. Did it even get to that point yet where he was so far removed from the norm?
Well, a little bit for sure. I mean, being that this was his 3rd straight U.S. Amateur, nobody in the history of golf had ever won 3 in a row. He was trying, and I was the only guy to stop him. So, obviously, I knew he had a full head of steam. You mentioned he was the medalist as well in this event, and he just was a freight train in match play. 36 straight match play wins in a row from the juniors and the amateurs, and it's well documented over time. But so, yeah, you pretty much knew that he was going to pull something out of his hat. I mean, I'm one up at this point. and it's a par 5, and I actually beat him on most of the par 5s. I mean,
Yeah, I noticed that you played the par 5 so well, which is not something people do, against Tiger very often.
But I probably won. I don't know how many par 5s I won compared to him, but I definitely won more than he did. That's for sure. And I think there was 5 par 5s. Oh, excuse me, 4 par 5s there.
So you're licking your chops here on 14. Huh? I mean, you got 20 feet for eagle. Tiger's got a tough chip. You're obviously kind of you're in the driver's seat here. Only have 4 or 5 holes left. I'm assuming that's why we get the big fist pump in the fairway. Obviously, Christy, you looked quite pleased with the golf shot, as we all were. This has to be feeling like a good spot for you, I would assume.
Yeah. I mean, I was just trying to hold this putt. It's a really quick putt. This green.
Yeah, it runs away.
You saw his chip run away right there. I mean, it's a well-designed hole it's a tough par 4, certainly, but for a short par 5, I hit 6 iron into it, and the green ran away, and I had a putt. It was a very quick putt. You'll see here in a moment, but I mean, when you get down, I always think the most important holes in a match. If you're playing an 18-hole match, it's the 12 through 14 holes basically are the key holes. If you can put the accelerator down and get a couple up, you're really going to force the guy's hand. And with only 4 holes to play after this one, you're really gonna. If I can get 2 up with a few to play, again, I think I'm going to win this thing because I'm getting to this point. I'm not seeing him make a lot of putts. He didn't putt that great.
Yeah.
He hit 28 to 29 greens, and he did not putt that great. He made a couple putts when he had to make them, and other than that, I can't say putt.
Well, you were obviously hitting it well. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard that second shot into 14 is. If you land that ball much further than you did, it runs off the back of the green, and you have a sticky little chip. That's why Tiger's a little short. So obviously, you're in great command of your golf swing because that's a very daunting second shot.
It was, but with my draw, I could kind of aim it at that right bunker, the right edge of the green, and turn it. I didn't have to aim over the water, which was good. And there's part of me that thinks the field staff at the USGA set that one up in my favor, like the whole thing, because most all the flags are on the left, and I don't know, maybe there's some. I think we could.
That's good to hear.
Another day, but.
Hey, Steve, I want to hear the story of your hat. I've had a few people ask about the hat on social media. Yeah, the hat was, well, first of all, it fit my small head. Second of all, it was a surf company that Tom Pernice's brother owned. It was called Pernici, and it was just a bunch of scribbles. People thought it was some other surf company or something, but not a surfer, never been on a board. But it just fit my head, and I'm a little superstitious. And I'm going to let you in on something that I don't think I've told many people ever. And this will be something you can throw this in your archives. I'm a pretty superstitious guy. Same amount of teas in my pocket and all that stuff. So I wear this hat on that second day of stroke play, shoot 66. That thing's not coming off. So one other thing that didn't come off the whole week, and I feel like an MLB baseball player when I'm going to say this, I wore the same boxer shorts like the whole week.
Come on.
There, how about that?
You're doing laundry every night, I hope.
I think they were walking themselves to the first.
Yeah. I think they disintegrated after this match, but
this is why I'm very glad I'm not
for sure.
This is worth the whole regripped thing. This is it right here.
Maybe that's why he got Tiger down so much going into the second 18. He wasn't used to it. He was a little freaked out.
What's that smell? This is weird.
Who is this guy?
All strategy, You have to.
Yeah, I love it.
Because Tiger, see, his caddy, you don't know this, but his caddy was asking Christy for his number before. Anyway, they were going for a trial run there, but.
That's phenomenal. So another great pin for you here, back left. What is this? Probably a 7-iron-ish.
It was a little into the breeze, I think. So actually, I think I hit 5-iron here. It was 185.
Oh, you lost?
Today would be a 6-iron for me, probably. It was a 5, a little into the breeze, and landed pretty soft. I think Tiger hit 6-iron maybe, or 7.
I mean, 2 up. It's a perfect golf shot, pin high. I mean, not the easiest putt in the world, but no issues.
if they show the guy behind Steve again, it looks like Will Ferrell's dad. Let's see if we get another shot, because it might be Will Ferrell's father.
That would be a pretty interesting nugget, and to know who was following around Tiger in the 96 AM.
John Farrell.
John Farrell.
This was a pretty solid shot here. Obviously, he's 2 down, 4 to play. Needs something to happen, and he got some backboards and sideboards here, and he uses them to perfection right there.
Anything about his game? I mean, he to me is the best iron player of all time, but obviously his length was the most obvious. But anything about his game when you played with him or against him here that you noticed was different from everyone else's, or was it just very obviously solid, good golf?
The sound that his golf ball made coming off the club. I mean, everybody makes that sound now. It seems like, Koepka and all the, you and everybody. I mean, they all make this sound, right? And he was kind of the first one to really put you in awe. And that's again, why I couldn't watch him hit. I obviously have heard it, or maybe I watched the flight just for wind direction or something. But if you get caught up in what he's doing, you just get sucked into the vortex and you can't get out. I mean, and it happened not only, to me, it happened to everybody over time. And I guess, it makes me more proud as I've gone along, that he did this to Ernie Els and Mickelson and DJ, and he didn't just take trophies from these guys, he took millions of dollars from these guys too.
Yeah. Christy, did you read the putts?
Sometimes, but his putter was so hot that week.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I got out of his way, but I read him anyway, just in case he's like, what do you think? But I don't know how often you really asked me that.
That's awesome.
So Max, you'll like this, and I can't ask Steve because he knows a lot of amateur trivia, so he might know this. So Tiger, but another pretty decent.
Perfect.
So Tiger wasn't perfect in U.S. amateurs. Okay, he was 20-2. He lost a couple early when he was winning all those juniors. Best winning percentage of all time in the amateur, 90.9% winning percentage. 2 people that beat him. You ready for this? Paul Page in 1993, a victor over Tiger. Tim Herron in 92. 6-4. Thumped him. Lumpy taking him down. That's Justin Ray sent that over.
So Tiger would have been 15 or 16.
Yeah, I wonder how old Tim Herron was.
Yeah, probably 24. Probably waited just to beat Tiger real bad one time.
So there you go. Those are the 2 guys that took down the best amateur player ever in his 2 matches he lost at the U.S. Amateur.
There are so many people there.
Yeah, they estimated 15,000, I think, for the day.
Holy cow.
There was a lot. I mean, honestly, it's easier, and I think you'd probably agree with this. I think it's easier playing in front of 15,000 people than it is of 15 people.
Yeah, 15, you could hear everything they do. And you could even hear them say, why are we watching this guy?
You see individual faces, if your wife or your girlfriend or your mom, or like you watch the anguish in their face. It's like a sea of people. You don't see it.
Steve, you made such a good point about the putter. I mean, he's missed a lot in that range. Hit it so good, but right here he runs this by. I mean, if you're sitting here at this point watching this, you're going, if he honks this one, it's almost over.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, he'll bury this one pretty calmly, but yeah, I mean, I know at worst, I'm 2 up with 3 to go right now. I mean, at this point, the breathing starts to get, is game over. And maybe no Nike contract, maybe, Phil Knight was out there in the gallery that day, and amongst all the 15,000, and he had that check in his pocket waiting to give him. He obviously turns pro the next day, it was just what a thing.
So you're 2 up with 3 to play. You're going to 16. if you can walk us through, and you guys can both jump in, if you can get us through what's going on, in between your ears and the prep and how you play these holes maybe throughout the week. Give us a little insight there.
Yeah, the 16th hole, straight away, pretty big fairway. You can't really see the landing area very much. But, it's 430 or 440. And in my semifinal match the day before, talk about these small-headed drivers, I hit a pop fly hook into the trees, and I had to take it unplayable. And that chipping was for bogey when my opponent was hacking it in the trees, and he made like 7, and which was a gift. But yeah, this hole been pretty good to me overall. But the pin being back right was not favorable to my draw. Really, it was maybe the only pin that day that I remember that was a really tough one. I hit it in the right greenside bunker earlier in the day. You'll maybe a replay on that. But the second shot didn't really set up to me very well. But I pumped one right down the gut.
Yeah, another confident drive.
All right, my kids are going to come watch this too.
All right, awesome. What's up, guys?
Let me get them in here. There we go. There's the whole crew.
How many times have you watched this?
Not many.
Really?
Just like once or twice a week, or?
No, I don't want my heart to be broken every day. but no, to have them see it. I mean, we all went back to Pumpkin Ridge 4 years ago and helped celebrate the 20th anniversary of this match. And the kids went out and we went out drove around the golf course. And, I think that's the coolest thing in the world, right? I know, Shane, you're a new father, and Max someday, but you got a fur baby. But I think the coolest thing in the world is to show your kids the part. And the best thing, my wife now was, such a part of the deal.
Right.
And, it's just, maybe they'll go on and play professional golf. Maybe they won't. It doesn't matter. But to them to know about this moment particularly, and whether, how this kind of transcends sport in a way, and the ball remarking incident that will come up. That's the coolest thing, just to share it with all them.
Steve, you talked about Phil Knight being in a gallery. Is Phil Knight at your house? I'm seeing a lot of swooshes going. Phil Knight behind this. Is he man in the cam?
They've been. Phil's been very nice to me. I'm at the nice Portland-based. Yeah, very nice with the Portland-based company out there. It happened to be Portland, right? But Nike's been a great supporter of me. TaylorMade has been a great supporter. I can't thank them enough. And my whole team now with PGA Professional, with the Outpost Club and everything. Just a very cool thing.
All right, so Steve, you set us up here. What do we got?
Little downhill lie. I got 6 iron, probably 184 to this back right pin. And again, I'm visualizing this shot that I kind of pushed over there in that right bunker. That pin's in the back right corner over there. We got no shot tracer now. No top tracer, excuse me. I was partly in an old Phil divot.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. And again, my ball never started left of the flag. It always started right, and never came back with that one, especially when the wind direction was going, and dumped it in the bunker. Now Tiger's got green light. I mean, you got backboard and sideboards all around this hole. And, you see my lie sitting down a little bit. It won't allow me to spin the ball very well. But Tiger's outdrove me by 52 yards on this particular drive. And so he's got wedge, and I had 6 iron. And, that's pretty much what it was. And we both hit driver. But it's a green light pin for him. He needs birdie. I mean, he's got to do something, or this thing's going to be over pretty quickly.
Right.
And he starts to do Tiger things right about here.
Yeah, you mentioned that the back corner of this green is a bowl if you can get a shot feeding in left to right, but when it comes in right to left, it just doesn't have as much bite to hit either of those slopes. It ends up running long. So obviously having a wedge in is a mega bonus for this pin location.
Watch where this one hops to. Very fortuitous. Almost reminds me of the shot he hit at Sawgrass on the Island Green. Watch this spin.
Oh, hit the collar.
That ball is probably 2
Yeah.
or 3 inches from hanging up in the rough over the green.
More Tiger stuff. Just
Yeah, that was.
game of inches, and it always seems to be he's always on the right side of it. It sure seems like.
Yeah, how many times you ever see him lip a ball out that he had to make a putt? I mean, almost never.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, that's in the rough. I mean, landed in the rough and kicked it and spun back in. So probably a professional 90 or something. Oh, here we go. Who we got here?
Here we go. It's still the same guys.
Oh, they got the same dudes there.
Who is the other one on the right?
Hold on. Here, let me turn it up. Let's see if he says it.
Dolphins also take on the Patriots or regional action. That's the NFL on NBC next Sunday at 12 noon Eastern time.
Dolphins ever be good? I mean, I just keep pulling for my Florida Gators. The Dolphins just out of their own way.
Players have won back-to-back titles. Bobby Jones and Jerome Travers did it twice, but none of the 8 before Tiger Woods.
So you get up here, you see the lie. Any part of you thinking, hey, I'm 2 up, through 3, not the end of the world. I don't need to be, I can kind of take on a crazy shot if it doesn't work. I'll be 1 up with 2 to play. Any part of that? Because obviously, we saw the lie. This isn't one that you're going to be able to hit super.
This was earlier. So here's my visual, right?
Yeah, almost made it.
Oh.
So he's got a good.
That was earlier. Basically the same shot, but that lie was much better earlier in the day.
Yeah. Looks like this one's going to have, almost be landed in the fringe, land in the rough, and kick on.
Yeah. I have a pretty good shot here, too. I mean, about as good as I could have hoped for. Easy to leave it in the bunker, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Just kind of runs away. But
He didn't have that crisp
and what's amazing about, I look back on this so many years down the road, and it's amazing how things happen, right? And how life and how matches and how things go. But, for my ball to be where it was, and for his ball, his marker to be right in my line, and have this moment, I'm 2 up with 3 to play, and just the situation and the magnitude of the moment, and have everything that happens right now, the next few minutes, it kind of blows my mind that I was that guy. Like, seriously.
Yeah, the odds of even just playing in a 2-ball and never having to move your mark are small, let alone be on the 34th hole of the USAM and have to remind somebody to move their mark back is even obviously considerably smaller.
Hey, Steve, were you thinking at this point, if I can can this with the way Tiger had been putting, there's a really good chance that this is mine?
Well, I knew that. I mean, yeah, I guess so. My goal right then and there, I got to bury this putt. Just force him to have to make a putt. I mean, that's all you're thinking of. In match play, you always have to think that your opponent is going to make the putt. And so you just get up there and hit the best stroke that you can. And I mean, I'm nervous as a cat right now. I can't think straight. And I've been dead center. I couldn't hit a better putt in my life than that putt.
So, Steve, let's listen in real quick. I'm going to turn the audio up just about the mark.
Reminding him to move his coin back.
Because you just pointed out that just for a second there.
I don't know that Tiger had remembered to do that. Tiger was coming down, and Steve turned around and said, hey, move it back.
Pretty good sportsmanship there, and had he not done that, David Fay, what would have been the consequences?
He would have played from a wrong place. He would have lost the hole. That would have been the match.
How about that for sportsmanship in the heat of this championship battle?
You don't see it in other sports.
Commonplace in golf, though. Just absolutely rule of thumb.
Every week.
Yep.
That's a moment right there. I'm
If he loses this hole,
be proud of, and just to be able to do the right thing for golf. And golf is just that sport that that you feel you have to do something like that. you look at all the sports nowadays, from the Houston Astros to Deflategate to
Well said.
Man, wow, you're playing Max's hits right now.
Very, very, very kind of you. Did you realize at the moment how big what you did was? Obviously, it blows up and it will get bigger as the years go on. But did you realize at that moment?
All I can say is this is.
How did you answer that?
I don't think he did. It was just so instinctive. He didn't even think about it. It just was
422 yards.
that reaction.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know, because she was down there raking the bunker, and she didn't know that I was going to move it over. And I sometimes wonder, would somebody have yelled from the crowd, "Hey, Tiger, you're on spot," or I don't know. I mean, and a few years ago, he finally mentioned something that he forgot. Like,
Yeah, I said he had no idea.
I didn't know for 19, 20 years that he actually, I didn't know what's going through his head. And so until he said it in an interview somewhere, I didn't know that he didn't know. It's a moment. Certainly, it's lived with me a long time, and it will live with me to the grave. And it's just, I'm proud, because that's what golf is about. That's why I got into the game. I must have learned the right way from my parents or something. As a 19-year-old in a situation like that, you don't consciously make decisions. It's just it's an instinctive sort of thing that just happened. And it would have been so weird to win that way.
Yeah, and also it just goes to your competitive side. You don't want to win a match because somebody made a mistake, in the semantics of the rules. You want to beat them because you're putting better than them, hitting it better than them, all the things. So that's the cool part about it. From my end, watching what you did.
Another iron off the tee, Steve.
Yeah, iron off the tee. I think I hit 3-wood on this one. I ended up out driving it.
Was it a change? Was it a change from the morning 18 to the afternoon for Tiger in terms of his decisions off the tees and how he approached some of the holes?
Definitely, yeah. He took a lot more irons off the tees. I mean, I didn't really have a choice. My 2-iron, I could hit it 240 maybe. But my 3-wood, I could get with some run. I could get it 255 or 60. Driving was getting about 280. So I pretty much had to hit the driver or 3-wood. I didn't have much of a choice, but I just needed the distance.
I mean, for me, the driver and the 3 were literally the exact same thing, so I can't tell them apart at all. I got nothing. They look exactly the same.
Steve, I want to say thanks to both of you guys for joining us. I did, before you go, I know you guys at the Outpost are doing a great thing for people that are struggling during the times with COVID and everything shutting down. Do you mind sharing just a little bit about what you guys are doing and where people can go to help out?
Yeah, thanks, Shane. Hop on outpostfoundation.org. What we've done, I can't take the credit. Our whole team there, Melissa Belomo, Bill Smith, everybody has been a part of what the Outpost Foundation has done. We've had 175 applications come in from caddies, outside staff, at clubs all over the country, locker room attendants. We've distributed 150,000 to these people, which we're very proud of. We certainly need more help because we love to give more. So hop on outpostfoundation.org. The Emergency Relief Fund. We're just trying to give back to the game. With the Outpost Club, we go around to so many great clubs in the country. Some of your best private clubs, some of your best resorts. And to give back to those people who do so much for us is the absolute least we can do. So outpostfoundation.org, hop on there, and please donate to the Emergency Relief Fund. Great.
Chris and Steve, we appreciate both you guys for joining us and being a part of it. I'm sure you're going to probably continue, at least with a side eye observing it. Christy, last thing before I let you guys go, how tired were you the next day? After all of it, it is a long week. And I've never done 36.
My feet were killing me, and I think had I known that him telling Tiger, if he hadn't done that, the match did possibly.
That's a great point.
We could have been done already.
I know.
Help her out, Steve.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate
Thank
the
you,
invite.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have
guys.
a good one.
Tell me how it ends.
Max, I'm gonna bring up this graphic I did at Loomis. Bring the book back. I like the book opening up.
I do too.
Now we'll see here. What he did was he established the nearest point was on the well, as you can see on the left.
Very cool.
Really cool. I've never been able to. I don't really know many people that have battled tiger and can like that have cool stories about it. I think that's really neat.
Okay, I was gonna say this, but I was not gonna interrupt Steve. How golfer is it to remember the exact numbers?
Oh yeah.
The 1996 amateur. We all do it, and it's always so awesome when you hear somebody go, "It was 183."
Yeah, that's unreal. I actually have a hard time with the numbers. I remember one in particular, but for the most part, I can never do the numbers. I can do the clubs for the most part, but the numbers is impressive.
Justin Ray does all the golf stuff at 15 Club and does a great job. He sent me the quarterbacks that we've been wondering who they were.
No way. Justin Ray is he's a renaissance man.
Yeah, Jeff Hostetler and Vinny Testaverde are the two.
Oh, there you go. That makes sense.
Thank you, Justin Ray. I appreciate it. Tiger didn't love that one.
Yeah, so that's not a very good shot. Right side of the fairway, left hand, best iron player ever. Not the best. This is one of those holes. Actually, the second shot, unless the pin's pretty much where Tiger hit the ball, it's not a particularly difficult second shot. You have a little backstop on that left side. So I'm sure he's kicking himself knowing he's one down with 2 to play, and Steve's got a pretty good look here. So obviously pretty upset.
Sets up great for him. This pin over on the left side.
Yep, he should go for it here. I really believe that. Put the hammer down.
And he's hit it just left of the hole. He might need a little bit of a kick.
Oh, a little unlucky. You got
Yeah, so two not very great shots there. It looks like Tiger's going to be going first, considering it's match play and it's just a straight distance thing. But obviously nervy. Everybody's nervy. Or, it could just be circumstantial. It could just be a not their best swings, but not the hardest soft shots. And now we got this is my personal favorite moment of the match. I'm sure it's a little different than Steve's favorite moment, but this is my favorite moment.
Hey, what's the nerviness? Like, what's the? I mean, I know not everybody's the same.
Yeah, so that is where it goes to the swing thing to me, and I truly believe this. Not everybody is obviously exactly uniform to this, but someone like Steve, who's a drawer, and who does have a bit of a flip in his golf swing, I would tend to say it's the right hand getting quick, and it's going to be a quicker draw. Rory's tends to be that like a long pull. It's like a safety under the plane move where you just kind of shut the face a little bit. Now, neither of those are unplayable. Mine tends to be a wipe short right, more of where Tiger's was. What Jordan Spieth had mentioned about 12 at Augusta, that's where I go. My body gets out in front. Everything's moving kind of too rapidly. And short right will come up quite often. It'll be a miss hit. I feel like guys who draw the ball tend to have their misses be more solid and kind of longer because it's going left and it's been flushed a bit more. Obviously, Steve's wasn't missed by all that much, but it was a little left. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is timing based off of, how we've talked about this on the podcast, how your hands are reacting to your arms or reacting to your body. It's obviously that's why golf is the most difficult game. And that's why, you see guys have pretty consistent misses at times, and you can find out what it is in their golf swing around impact.
All right, I'm gonna turn the broadcast volume
do it
up
again, so I got to get this there.
There's an amazing story about this. I'll say after this.
I'll tell you what,
It's
right
just
now,
unbelievable,
my stomach is
man.
like churning. I'm telling you, see that? Taking a deep breath, trying to get air.
The one
Did
up
you
with
see
2
that?
to
You could just see
play,
it on
Tiger's
his
at
face.
45 feet. You got a pretty, easy-ish to kind of tricky chip, but you're like, yeah, I mean, shoot. I need a birdie 18. I win the USAM.
good.
Great speed. It's in.
Are you serious? Tiger. Unbelievable. I tell you, that's all I can say. I used to say that about
points
Nicholas.
them out. That smile Steve gave when Tiger did on 11 is not as apparent as what happened on 17. It goes from, a Tiger moment to like, I hate this. This guy's got to stop doing this to everybody.
Dude, he did the hat slap. That might be the lone Tiger hat slap ever. Can you remember a hat slap?
I only know the hat throw, so I'm not super knowledgeable with the slap. So that putt, one of my favorite Tiger stories, he says, I don't know when he said it, but he said it after that putt, he didn't feel like you could miss because it funneled, of course, it funneled into the hole. So he felt like if he pushed it, it would have broke back. If he pulled it, it would have taken more break. So he makes it so I come to this green when I had to have my little birdie run, and I have a putt that I thought was to the same pin. I remember the story. I didn't remember the pin. And I had about a 12-footer, and I told myself, remember, this is the Tiger putt. It's unmissable. And I made it. And now as we're watching it, not even the same putt at all, but I thank him for putting that in my brain. It's a classic Pumpkin Ridge, man. Like everywhere you miss, there's these like really sharp backboards and sideboards. And when you miss them, it's just very difficult to chip. Even like that, you're just trying to hit it at the hole and give it a chance. And even then, it's hard to get the line right because it'll carry the ball wherever the slope wants it to. But like Steve said, coming to 18, where Tiger hasn't had it's not his best favorite tee shot. Steve loves it. Take it off the bunkers and draw it. This is just a joke. I mean, the guy freaking does this for another 20-something years. Right in the middle.
So fun.
I wonder if he knows he's going to do it. Like, come on.
Like maybe here, when this one goes, it's like, okay.
I mean, he just birdied 16, birdied 17. Like, not like the pin on 16 was that easy either. I mean, he misses the shorty on 15 and 14 and just starts rallying.
Crazy. Just as we get to 18, this will be the 36th hole of the championship match. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Cisco and the USGA. Thanks, guys, for helping make this look like this, because we did something similar about 5 weeks ago, and let me just say,
didn't look like this.
We need the help of Cisco. We need the help of a company that understands technology like Cisco, because Max and I, not so much.
No, yeah, I mean, I was just impressed that we figured out how to turn the camera off, let alone
one of our greatest. That was
this is much nicer.
So, always an interesting thing when I'm calling U.S. amateurs, Max, late in rounds when you get the quarters, semis, and especially in the finals, is I always check and see how many times these guys have played 18, because, if you're Victor Hovland at Pebble and you're running through it.
You haven't been there yet, yeah.
You only played it once during stroke play, right? So it's been a while since you played the hole. You can actually play the hole in if you're not holding matches up. You can hit shots, and you'll see some guys do it.
That's a psycho move.
Just playing more golf when you're playing.
Yeah, you won. Go home.
Oh, hey, Faxon is the king of this, of telling me this. Brad and I, it'll be 110 degrees outside in the middle of summer. Hot, brutal area. Some match will have gone 18 holes, and he'll see a player on the range after, and Brad will always go, well, that's the wrong decision. They won their match, and a long day, a long week. It's the longest week in golf, really, outside of, as you said, the Western Am. And, you get out there grinding to try to find something. You're like, no.
Shane, what's so difficult is you get to these events. I did it at the U.S. Open I played in. You get to these events, and the facilities are nicer than anything you've ever been to. The golf balls are Titleist Pro Vs. You want to just be on the range. You feel like you should be, but you also just enjoy it. It's not your run-of-the-mill range. It's all kinds of done up because of the USGA. So you want to be out there. And then you realize, again, as you get older, you're like, what the hell was I doing? Go home, kick your feet up. Talk to your girlfriend. Don't hit any more golf balls. You've got it figured out. I still struggle with that. Or not struggle with that, but I've learned that quite a bit on the PGA Tour in the last, 4 or 5 years. Just like, hey, just because you get to go hit balls next to, people you watched growing up doesn't mean you need to go sit there too. Everyone has their own path. If you're tired, you're tired. If you're ready to practice, go practice. But it's a long week, and in this case, one of the longest. So, but it's hard not to. It's like a childhood dream to play in a U.S. Amateur. You want to keep grinding.
I had a great question. You'll appreciate this. Aaron XC asked, better celebration, the Tiger hat slap that we just saw or the Spencer Levine hat kick?
Well, the hat kick. This is an easy answer.
That's the best thing that's ever happened on a golf course is the hat
best
kick.
part is I'm very fortunate to be very friendly with Spence. And one time I'm playing a practice round with Spence, and I think Zach Blair, and Zach had never seen his hat kick. And I'm talking about it, and I didn't know how Spencer would feel. It was a tough day for him. Spencer catches us talking about it, looks over, I think, at Zach and says, oh, here, I'll show you exactly what I did, and took his hat off and kicked it. And I was like, you're the best ever. You're the coolest guy in the world. I mean, he connected on that kick, too.
Super good, yeah.
It had the eyes right at the cameraman, a la my shank. A little less dangerous, but had the same look, up and at the camera.
Yeah, the shank at Bay Hills is just an absolute all-timer.
When you see Tiger put his yardage book in his mouth like that, does it make you reflect back to simpler times where you could I don't know, touch things and?
I'm going through that where you watch old sports or watch an old movie, and I'm like, oh man, these people are really close.
Yeah, you need to separate.
If you guys get 6 feet away, that would really help situations. So this is 18. I mean,
18. He needs. Pretty crazy. He's all the way back to all square. Has to feel. Obviously confident because he's playing well, but it's probably an eerie feeling. Crazy hard second shot. Green is right between these trees. It is a lot smaller of a window than the camera makes this look.
You're a broadcast natural.
Some sort of win. Yeah, so there you go. Wow, that was very, very, very close to not covering.
That was like a smothery one.
That was a smothery cut, or smothery draw. Yeah, interesting. Now, see, that's what's crazy about this. Tiger has to now think, all right, man, I kind of think I might have just won the US Am.
Now this is over.
Yeah, he's getting tigered, to make it a verb. Tiger's got, a little less club in. Not that Steve doesn't have, he has actually a fairly straightforward wedge shot, but it doesn't look like he's, that's not a swing that I think would strike a lot of fear into Tiger. But again, Tiger does have a hard shot. This green is tiny. It has a mega fall off on the left. It's a very small landing spot. But we saw him do it on 11. I guess you wouldn't really be too surprised if he did it again here on 18.
Steve just texted total chunk is what he said. He totally chunked. Right. Total chunk.
This is nerve-wracking for everybody, including us.
Throw on top of it a chance to make golf history.
In such a dramatic fashion. Anybody can, just cruise through and win, but this guy's supposed to lose going into 16.
Birdie there at 16, another birdie at 17.
Standing below the ball, that could be a bit of a problem.
He has hit a towering iron shot, but it is going a little left.
Yeah, this just gets ejected down this hill. It's just such a difficult, even if you play it right of the green, it's obviously a shade better, but you have the chip that comes down towards this way. Now you have a pitch where anything inside 5 feet would be phenomenal. You're probably trying to get it somewhere around 10 to 15, and it's yeah. You also got to decide if you're going to chip putt. Obviously, the sprinkler head's in his way. You might not be able to putt it unless he gets relief. So he slapped his hat. Now he's looking at it. He's got all kinds of issues going.
And you got to make that decision.
Christy Hummel continuing to smile her way up the 18th.
She is just such a good influence. I'd like to have her caddy for me. And I don't even play.
You know what's so interesting about watching, and I love this, it's actually the David Fay did this. They used to state all the amateur events, and it was David Fay's job to stake all the indoor events. You'd have to go up there and put stakes in every 10, 15 yards on every hole with ropes. And David suggested, because he hated doing it, he said, what if we had the fans walk with them?
Why don't I just run around wherever?
He convinced the executive director of USGA at the time to do that. And so that's why you see at these amateurs the fans walking. But I feel like now they'll at least keep them back. I mean, when you see Steve and Tiger walking throughout the championship match, I mean, these people are on top of them, you know?
Anytime I see this, and this will be forever until the end of my time, I think of the Tour Championship with Tiger, which is legitimately the craziest thing I've ever seen in golf and the coolest. And, like, you know, Rory walks out of that thing, he says some sort of expletive. He's like, what the – something happened, or what was that? It was so cool. So now I look at it and it's all dwarfed. But yeah, there's not a lot of crowd control here. I feel like somebody could run up and like just kind of start swinging Steve's clubs around. I mean,
take Tiger's 5-iron.
Yeah, take his 5-iron. I mean, yeah, it feels like anything goes. This shot, by the way, super not fun. The only real way to get it close is to land it in that swale that Tiger's kicked down and left to, because that's if you land it right to that. I mean, it can get to 15, 12 feet, but the only way you're getting it close is going like a 2 yards right of it, having it kick forward and left, and then rolling up to that back tier. So not a great angle. Again, though, with Tiger down there, you have to be feeling a little more comfortable, considering if Tiger gets that, you know, within, you know, gimme distance, or even within, you know, a 6-foot circle, that'd be a phenomenal shot. So I feel like you're kind of back to all square here after hitting, and I will quote his, a chunk. So I'm not making that one up. He just chunked it. So it feels like all of a sudden you got some
a chance right
back in your sails. Yeah. Seemed like a nice full number, which helps. Yeah, lovely. That's where you would play that. I mean, that's just where you play that shot. It's not a terribly difficult putt. Obviously not you know, super easy, not like you're in the driver's seat, but you're safe. Tiger's now got to do something pretty great to really force your hand. Look at that guy throwing the divot back. That's phenomenal. Now we got that guy spectators helping out.
Get that guy tickets to the 97 AM.
Yeah, that guy just earned his keep.
You'll like this. My first amateur, I think I saw the picture on my phone. My first amateur working was with Bryson one in Chicago. And I was out on the course doing on-course reporting. And there was a guy walking to my right, older fella. And I noticed golf shoes on him, which isn't that, actually, wearing the golf shoes to the tournaments isn't that crazy, because if it's wet at all, it keeps your feet dry. And the golf shoes on, he had the rangefinder on his side.
Is that crazy?
He pulled the rangefinder out, shot, he could shoot any number he wanted.
Man.
True fan.
That's like worse than bringing a baseball glove to a baseball game.
What's the age cutoff for the baseball glove to the baseball game?
12.
I was going to say, I think it's when you turn 13. I think it's the step into the teenage years, you got to ditch the glove.
So this is a big moment. I think he would have probably putt this if this sprinkler, or if this whatever that drain wasn't in his way. You could obviously chip it, and it's not considerably different, but the way the grasses are on there, it's really tight. It's not easy to pitch off of, and it's really easy to putt off of. So obviously not the best break here. Now he's got to play it just left of the hole, have it kick right. And again, if you leave this shorter, if it goes right, it's coming right back down to your feet. At times, that shot's easier if Steve's in real close, because you can take a mega gamble. It's hard in that situation because, again, you kind of think to yourself, birdie wins, up and down wins the U.S. Amateur, but, 2 feet too short and you lose it. So it's a tricky spot. Again, going back to just Tiger's experience and knowledge of winning golf tournaments, I think that was such a great shot that's probably a little overlooked. He gives himself a great look at potentially winning the thing while, not taking on too much risk of losing the thing. So I think that's just a stellar, like well thought out shot and a stellar execution.
What kind of putter was Tiger using in this? Is that ping?
It looked like a ping, but I can't really tell.
Because I just saw his grip, Tiger's grip. It would be very interesting.
It's always ping, though, isn't it?
No. So Tiger's grip's Titleist.
Oh, it's the core Titleist.
If he's using a ping putter,
If he's using a ping putter with a Titleist grip, I don't get it.
and then he uses a Titleist putter with the ping grip.
I don't get it then. It's got to be a Scotty. It's just got to be.
So in a weird way, all of a sudden, if you're Steve, you're thinking,
Yeah.
if I can sneak this in, I'm going to win.
Been putting his brains out. Got a little read off Tiger's chip, swinging right to left. This is not an easy putt, but little downhill, so you don't have to worry too much about, having to smoke it. Usually helps you get online. That's a great. Oh my! I did not know he ran that by. Holy cow! that's how we all feel when that thing goes by. You're like, come on, man.
So that putt, well past for par. So this is the birdie putt.
And an interesting, Tiger's got to think I make it and I win, but I might win this thing with a 2-putt.
Right.
I mean, that's it's a tricky little lead Steve's got. Kind of shocking.
He doesn't make this.
I would have bet everything he made after he birdied 16, 17. I mean, yeah, sure, Tiger makes the putt. Like, we've all read this story a million times.
It's just so interesting because, to your point, professionally, he always made this.
Always. Man.
Turn it up. You're the Johnny reaction.
We'll see. He just made a clutch putt at 16 and a heroic putt at 17 from across the green. And now he's hit a great chip to give himself a chance to win the three-peat. Right here, this is for his third straight United States Amateur, following up 3 straight United States Juniors.
It would be unbelievable, too, Johnny, in the way he's done it. 3 straight birdies at 16, 17, and 18.
We'll leave it alone here, Tiger. It's all up to you.
Never had a chance. Remember, Steve Scott has a much longer.
All right, so we got to listen in. Steve texted that when he
par putt has been conceded
a
to Tigers.
baby or a kid yells in the back
to extend the match to the 9th hole. He misses, and Tiger Woods has his three-peat.
Well, it was a sort of a disappointing effort by Tiger. That surely wasn't anything to write home about, but it did get the job done.
I wonder when Tiger changes his routine with his putting, because that was way different than he normally goes.
Maybe inside left edge, but under the circumstances, that hole's pretty small.
Just try to rip it in there.
Yep. I heard a little
Steve
something.
Scott answers the par at 18. The last time the
It's weird how that stuff works. He feels like he just won the damn hole.
Right. So weird. That's why match play is so much fun.
Yeah.
When Nathaniel Crosby beat Brian Lindley on the 37th hole at the
Oh,
Olympic Club in
excellent.
San Francisco.
Tiger at the 92 U.S. Junior
Take more than
needed 87 holes to win the entire Junior AM. U.S. all time in 6 matches, 87 holes. You think about this as going to 37 just in the championship alone. He was right. I mean, that was, we had Victor Hovland at Pebble. It was, every match, he was just steamrolling people. You get a great player playing unreal golf, and that stuff can happen.
That's wild.
463 yards.
And this is a hole that's been giving Steve problems with off the tee. So
Where did they mention where they're going? 1?
just play a 2-iron.
They just said it.
This tee and take a look.
I'm guessing it's 1.
9 holes, 9.
9?
Zero, this is the hole you were talking about.
Draw it down the right side.
How are they getting everybody back there? That is not close. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, if it fits Steve's shape, it's just a very small fairway where he has to land it. I mean, same for Tiger. Obviously, Tiger had bombed one up here in the afternoon match. Just a super not fun tee shot. Cool green, pretty flat, a little back to front, and then runs off a little bit on every side. So nice big green, but again, what beauty of this golf course? You better be in the fairway. I mean, they're walking across the green. The pin is gone.
Somebody go get the pin.
Somebody get the pin, please.
This thing would have gone.
Oh, I'm telling you, it doesn't stop till it gets to like 35 feet. I've been back there. It sucks. I mean, this is so freaking pure.
So right in there.
Just right in there.
Scott H asked, chances Tiger wins to Max?
I mean, he's the favorite. He's obviously trending.
60%?
He's you got to think he's a 75% chance to win this at least, probably 85.
Okay.
You know what? I know you told me not to do this. We're not supposed to predict on here. I'm saying he wins it. I'm saying Tiger wins the thing. Okay. I'm going to say it's on the 38th hole, though.
Okay. Okay. So we'll see a couple before. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
If he doesn't, I'll shave my arms and legs.
Face. Eyebrows. Clear the flags.
Hurry up, please.
How many people were on this cart?
How many flags did they decide to grab?
Get them all. Just get all of them.
Just grab them all. You never know.
Get the ones from the other course.
Holy cow. I think that guy was checking out that girl that they just drove by.
Is that a referee shirt?
Yeah, I think he's a ref. Here we go. The matching suits.
That moment at 17 was, I mentioned earlier, it was almost surreal, movie-like.
Young Johnny.
Unlikely, but he made it.
Right in the heart. I mean, just, you know, it's just special stuff.
I think my favorite part about this whole rewatch has been on 16. We're obviously making a big deal about what Steve did, telling Tiger the game or the sportsmanship. Obviously, a huge moment for our sport. That's how we do like to think we conduct ourselves. Everyone's commending Steve for doing it, and Johnny goes, "Yeah, I mean that's just what you do." No compliment, no nothing. Just yeah, I mean you're supposed to do that.
Would have sort of ginched that over to the right or something, or missed it left, and he had enough insides to be able to put a perfect stroke on, knock it in the middle of the hole.
I agree. Certainly well-deserved hoopla as Tiger Woods goes.
Fast forward like 10 years, and Tiger in this moment would have 20 security guards around him. Nowadays, he's just rolling by himself.
Now he's got Fred and Matilda back here watching.
Matilda just strolling behind.
Okay, I'm gonna play off of this guy.
I do really like that hat.
And it's a tough hole. It's got a lot of strategy, this hole, with that double bunker in the center of the fairway, and it forces.
He's always been a big chapstick guy. I need to get into that because my lips are always so messed up.
You can see the double bunker that's in the middle of the
Nice. Oh, that's a good one.
Hey, what if we did I mean, I don't even want to cut. What if I did if I got you a sponsorship?
With chapstick?
Or just any chapped lip?
Yeah, because I don't ever want to ever be in a commercial where I'm going like this.
What if they paid you $40 million?
And I'll be like this all the time. Forever.
So here's the deal. You have to get you've got to get some lip balm sponsorship. But every time you're under the gun and you know the mic's there, you have to say something like, all right, what do you think it is, Joe? Hold on one second. All right? My lips are chapped. That's what you have to say. Did you remember to do that, you think?
No. I'll forget to bring the chapstick. That would be hilarious, but no, it probably won't work.
These gentlemen teed off at 10:15 Eastern Time this afternoon.
This is a lot of golf, man. I mean, I know you're fired up. I know adrenaline's everything, but I mean, this is what, 6 matches. This one's going long. There you go on cue.
To get into the round of match play, top 64 advance after 2 days of stroke play qualifying. And then 2 rounds
So
of
9 rounds
to the quarterfinals.
plus
The winners there moving on
some
to the
extra.
semifinals, and then to end it all off, 36-hole championship, which has turned into
That's a lot of golf, man.
Let's go.
I mean, Tiger does do it on a broken leg, like with 5 rounds plus some change, but that's almost double that U.S. Open. One of the things I always struggled with was you're supposed to have that pin, you know, to recognize that you're like one of the contestants. You can get in everywhere. Never knew where to put it. A lot of people put it on their belt, which is like a smart place. I think he found a good spot. I think it looks cool. It also reminds me of Rocco and all of his flair on his hat from the 08 U.S. Open, which I really appreciate.
Yeah.
All of his cool little pins.
I had a couple of questions on who was on the bag. He had Jay Brunza was on the bag during Tiger's qualifying portion.
Yeah, we know him. Yeah.
And then currently on the bag is Brian Bell, who's a friend of his, a lifelong friend of his. That's who's caddying for him right now. But we mentioned this earlier. He switched caddies between being a low qualifier into the match play.
Oh my sweet Lord, that is so far. He flew that last bunker. That is jarring. Ooh, did he go to iron? Hey, good. I mean, see, they talked about it. He stick to his game plan. That's impressive. Tiger said, I think, 400 yards. That's impressive.
Oh.
Tiger's drive, it might be the longest of the week for him.
I like that play.
Yeah.
He hit kind of that block right last time.
Yeah.
Played it up.
Very interesting. Interesting play. I like it. Good for. I mean, he mentioned it, but that's something difficult to stick to when you're saying that, or when he was saying that Tiger kept hitting 2 irons and he had to hit driver. All of a sudden, Tiger hits driver and he hits 2 irons. So, interesting. But obviously, we're well, I think it works out.
Who we got?
I've had lunch with Nathaniel, just not to brag.
I've had dinner with him. Is that better than lunch or no?
Hey, I'll see you guys. It was really fun.
Great seeing you, man. That's Max Homa, everybody. PGA Tour winner Max Homa. Call him if you want to get lunch.
Companion of Nathaniel Crosby.
He's always up for lunch. Panera, he'll buy, no big deal. Chapstick, bring it. Hey, when you do the avatar pictures, do you smile or do the serious face?
Avatar pictures.
You know, like the pictures they show or your PGA Tour profile pic.
Oh, I smile. I'm happy to be there.
Can we see it? Like, can you do what your picture looks like as close as you can make it
It's
look?
usually right off the golf course, and my hair is like this.
Okay, you're doing the speed.
And then I have to. And then I get over. You got to go side profile.
Okay. Oh, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good.
Done a couple of years worth of them. I got a new picture this season. No big deal. I felt like I was having a good hair day. But they asked, "Do you need a new picture?" I said, "You bet I do. You bet I do. I'll be in there." And I went in there. I looked nice. This is my best picture yet, I think.
You photoshopped that onto your wedding photos? That picture in particular, that face?
Trying to say I didn't look good in my wedding photos?
You look fantastic. You're best.
The morning of my wedding. No big deal.
Whirly bird.
Good shot for a draw. Really hard shot for pretty much everybody, though. Beautiful. I mean, that's tremendous. Gotta think that's a 5 or 4 iron, maybe a 2 iron even. Tiger's got 80 yards in.
Not a long hitter, just an average length hitter to take a hole that's 463 yards and play 2 irons against Tiger Woods after he just hit a ball at 340.
2 iron. Interesting. Yeah, good on it. I mean, that's the way to beat somebody that's obviously, obviously no one's quite like Tiger, but in this situation where you got to just keep being you. Golf shot feels good, looks good. You hit the club you like. Don't look at what Tiger did. I mean, if he beats you, he beats you. You can't. You wouldn't want to go home thinking, why'd I hit driver on the 37th hole when I didn't feel good about it. Look, he pulled it.
Left of the hole over by Steve Scott's ball.
That's unbelievable. I think he's outside. Wow. This is where the media people say, it's what I love about match play. Anything can happen.
Roberts, 1981 Ryan, said new signature move after a big putt for Max. Lay on the chapstick hard before getting the ball out of the hole.
I don't hate it. If it's a 3-footer, though, it's got to be a long putt.
Well, that's what it is. You make it, as you're walking, you're just.
What if I kick one in for a win, tap it in, whip out the chapstick?
Oh, you know what you do? I got it. You do the chapstick the whole Balionis interview.
That's so creepy.
Yes. What's wrong with this guy?
What's wrong with this guy?
I got a situation.
I get chappy when I'm nervous. I don't chapped up.
As the United States Amateur, where the U.S. Open, you got pretenders, the Masters and British Open are right there with it. So, this is clearly the event for an amateur player.
All day we've been trying to illustrate to you what exactly Tiger Woods' march through history looks like.
Pretty cool, Shane, that you replaced Dan Hicks and Johnny Miller.
Bobby Jones leading the way with
It's pretty awesome.
Thanks, man.
Jay
You know what? And I'm gonna throw this. I'm gonna throw this at Brad. I might see if everybody's down maybe for the matching polos.
I'm starting to like that idea.
Under the jacket. I gotta make sure Dan's okay with it.
You gotta ask Brad's fashion fashionista. He likes to wear the plaid. Are you gonna wear the plaid? You wear a lot of solids.
I'm a more solid guy, but I always, if Brad wants to do it, I'll go plaid. I will follow in his footsteps. If he wants to do kind of a brown burnout plaid, I'm in.
He does love the brown burnout plaid.
So, okay, sorry. Steve, we said 2-iron. That was a 5-iron.
Hey, that's what I said first.
So you're right. You're natural.
I'm a media mogul. It looked like a 2-iron. I can't tell the difference with these clubs, man. Like, things really did change a lot.
When you watch some of the old ones, I mean, what I think the biggest difference in technology is, besides, the golf ball's way different.
Yeah.
Professionals mishit drives.
Yeah.
With the old drivers at times. I mean, I was just listening to the Shotgun Start talking about Nick Faldo when he won the 96 Masters, said he chunked 2 drivers during the practice round at Augusta. Chunked drives. Like, I mean, you hit every drive in the middle of the face.
One of my all-time favorite. Let's see if this goes in.
Right. One of his better putts, right?
Yeah, I mean, finally good speed. I mean,
so
he's either short or long on everything.
This upcoming putt for Steve is the only putt all day that he had to win, despite never trailing in the match.
That's wild.
So this is for the amateur.
He got a good read. He's been putting it awesome. Obviously breaking right, not a righty's favorite thing, but gotta feel real good about this.
You were saying Tiger 70% chance of winning this match, and I mean, the chance to lose right here.
I'm not gonna lie, my computer lagged. Was that short?
It was the needed a hair more pace and it goes in. Short and low, not bad though, but I mean, just needed to hit them.
So my driver story, sitting on the putting green one time at the Houston Open, I think with Justin Thomas, we're just kind of having a little putting game. I look over on the range, and we just start watching Ernie Els hit some balls as we take like a little break. He's hitting driver. Well, he's 30, 40 yards away from us, and he hits this drive out of nowhere that he just cold tops, goes to the left, maybe flies 40 yards. I mean, it was the worst drive ever. I don't know if he knew we were watching, but something in him must have like felt it, because he turns around, sees us again 40 yards away, and just winks at us and like smiles. I was like, you know what? That makes you. Like, he didn't care. If I did that, I would have hit. I would have hit the next ball as fast as I could. Hopefully, assume nobody saw it. It was awesome. So yeah, I mean, we missed hit some shots.
He's got great memories here on this hole. And if he were to,
I topped the drive in a 4-ball qualifier. Just cold topped the drive one time.
Nothing better.
And you're playing a team deal. I was playing with my buddy Ashton. You know, Ashton smokes one. It's like, do I just pick this up? Like, am I doing? I mean, do you need my help here?
Here's one I don't think I've told anybody except my coach. In the peak of my struggles in whatever year it was, the forgotten year, in a practice round, I cold topped a 3-wood off a tee, and then everyone laughed, and I lied to my group and said that the ball had started to fall off the tee as I was hitting it, and then they all went with it when I topped it. Just cold topped it. Nothing to do with the tee, man.
just couldn't do it. All right, so
Tiger still feels good here. He's a great long iron player. Steve, although he did make birdie, did not hit a very good shot here in the afternoon and kind of thinned it out to the right. Hopefully the pin's back in so they have something to aim at.
Nice shot starting left of the hole and cutting. Good looking shot.
I mean, just absolutely amazing. Look at fist bump from the tee, Shane.
T pump.
T pump.
You know that I'm not a big complaint about pace of play, because if nobody's going to yell at you about it, you know, do whatever you want. I mean, you play at your speed until you get in trouble, right? That's how it works. But these dudes play fast. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they're moving along nicely. Not too much deliberation. Just very ready to play. Obviously, they're playing well. Probably has something to do with it. Going back to what Steve said, one of the few pins on the right side of the green, the last 2 holes. Maybe a little conspiracy theory as far as the playoff holes were chosen. Yeah, so he did the exact same thing he did before. Hung in right, didn't turn. Not a great pin. Not a great memory as far as the very last time he played it, minus the chipping. Now I'm assuming we will see exactly how hard that first chip was that he made, because he has a slightly better lie, but equally as difficult angle. Obviously, Tiger stuffed it in there. Tiger's got a really hard putt, though, I will say. 5 feet down, left to right. I mean, it is not simple by any means. We saw his putt in the afternoon match, broke about 5-6 feet. It's going to be down that ridge. So still in the discussion, obviously, Tiger, but you know, you still got to think 3 would be a pretty solid score for Steve.
Justin Ray letting us know, first time in 46 years to this point that the Game of the Final went to a 38th hole. And so, you know, the 2 longest U.S. amateurs ever, 1950 and 2000, were 39-hole affairs. Jeff Quinney was the 2000 winner.
Quinney!
Just as we're kind of winding all this down, as the match is getting to a point where, you know, it looks like it's going to be a 3-peat for Tiger, I just want to let you know that Cisco and the USGA have asked us to do a few of these, and we have said yes, absolutely. I think we said emphatically yes. We're going to do a May 2nd next launch party. That'll be next Saturday. Same time, same place, all that stuff. So make sure you download the official US Open app in partnership with Cisco. That's available on Fire TV, Roku, and Apple TV. Watch us again. Different shirts, same jokes.
So he's got to bump this into the fringe and pray. Oh, just a little too far. Yeah, the putter raised up. That's a great, or wedge race up. That's a great shot. Now you leave yourself. See, that's great. You leave yourself 6 feet up the hill, 5 feet up the hill. Relatively simple putt for the most part, but you can't. It's tough in a situation like that when it's do or die. You got to make the decision if you're going to go for all broke and hope for the perfect bounce to hit it to gimme. Are you going to try and make another one, or are you just going to do what he did and basically give yourself a very good look at the next one, which is exactly what he accomplished. Like I said before, Tiger's putt is very difficult, and sometimes you just got to take what you get from where you left yourself off the tee. Oh, I love the string. This is my favorite part about
String?
match play golf. Like, yeah, who's away? I don't know, man. You go. Like, that's what we play. And all of a sudden it's like, no, I need it to the centimeter.
Oh, no, he's got the flag out.
Oh, see this? Come on, USGA, you're better than this. We got to have a better system.
I do laugh every time they do bring the string or whatever it is out because, I mean, there has to be technology to let us know. But with technology, we would miss things like this, which make us laugh.
I'm happy about it. Now we got the string. What?
Steve just texted. Trey Holland told Steve that he was away. Then Tiger said, "Are you sure?"
Are you sure? Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll do it again.
So they did it again, and then Tiger was away. So Tiger kind of, Tiger leaned on it.
Man.
He doesn't want Steve Scott to have to hit his putt. Let's put it that way.
Can't think of a worse putt to have to win a golf tournament.
Have this putt?
It's just like, yeah, this putt. I mean, especially knowing that you don't have to make it in your head. Like, obviously you would rather, but it's so hard to get these putts started online. It's so hard to hit them with the correct speed. You need to make sure that you do not have a next putt, or at least nothing drastic, while also, like I said, giving yourself a chance. Also hasn't made a 8-footer in a while. Pulled it and smoked it.
Putts in 3 holes. The putt at 18 was very disappointing. Didn't even come close, and that one there, obviously.
Man,
that was not a good putt.
That wasn't a great putt. It was the aim left, pull left putt.
Aim left, pull left, hit it too hard putt. Just like, that's somebody who thinks, that's like when the actual amateur, not people playing in the U.S. Amateur, the actual amateur golfer's like, pro side, missed it on the pro side. And Tiger's over there wanting to snap his putter in half. A little longer than I thought, so still straight up the hill, breaking probably just gently left to right. Tough spot. Oh, that was a great putt. It lacked like 6 inches of speed, maybe.
Oh.
He rolled it right where it looked like he was trying to.
I'm a big believer in like this. Like, you've got to hold this.
Yeah, I love that. Make me hold it. I think everybody wants to hold it. Like,
I agree with you.
I don't want to pick up after you. I don't want to take my hat off after you just missed.
Because it's an uncomfortable thing. No matter if it's 1.5 feet or 2 feet, it's uncomfortable to have to make.
You've been out there for 9 rounds. Like, you gotta earn it. Unbelievable.
6 straight USGA championships, 6 championship matches where he was losing. And he came back in all of them. Unbelievable. And that was the last moment of Tiger as an amateur golfer. Max, I just want to get. I'm going to turn the volume down on this thing. Let's hear your thoughts on the match and everything.
Yeah, first of all, super thankful again to Cisco for figuring out how the heck to do this, and the USGA. This was fun, something I've never seen before at a golf course. Means a lot to me. My thoughts are, it's just Tiger being Tiger. I thought he hit it great from what we saw. He did not putt it well. He makes 2 hero putts, but for the most part, not Tiger-like from all of my memories. Steve plays awesome. I don't think he buckled by any means. His 2 shots into 14 were phenomenal. He had a lot of great shots. It's just tough when the cat gets momentum, man. I just don't feel like – I feel like if you look back to one moment, it's too difficult because even after that putt Steve misses on 8 that I thought would be a big change. I mean, Tiger birdies 9, and then Steve comes back and birdies 10. So I thought they both played really great golf. But yeah, I think it's testament to Tiger. He doesn't need to be really that on with everything to beat you, and especially over 36 to 38 holes. And that's why he kept winning US amateurs. He doesn't need. The longer you play Tiger, I think, especially in his heyday, the harder it was going to be to beat him. What did you see? What were your surprises and takeaways?
So I think I was the most surprised maybe by his putting. I mean, you said hero putts, and it was true. I mean, he made some long, crazy putts out of nowhere, but considering where he was hitting the golf ball, I mean, he's hitting every green. He was hitting it close, and nothing was going. But that pressure, if you're Steve Scott playing a guy like Tiger, the pressure Tiger put on him, even without making those birdie putts, they were simple pars. I mean, they were never going to be worse than par, right? You're hitting it 12 feet and 8 feet and 10 feet all afternoon long. You're putting the pressure on Steve to equal those approach shots, and that's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to, like you said, it's a hard thing to equal the best iron player of all time in that regard.
Yeah, at some point, Steve was going to have to do something not special, but he was going to have to match Tiger for a while with that iron play. And I know many people have tried, and very, very few have succeeded. So at some point, the cat's going to kind of creep up on you. And again, that's why it's a testament to why these things are 36 holes. It gives you, it usually produces the correct champion. Obviously Steve, it's gut wrenching. The putty it's on the 38th hole is so good, and it's just such a tough spot. But yeah, like you said, Tiger just continues to hit greens, and you get to a hole like number 10 that's a very difficult long iron. Tiger makes it look easy. Steve hits a decent shot that just misses, and he's left with a tough up and down. Tiger, I felt like the whole time we watched, never really ever had a very tough spot to play from. And yeah, it's just it's two great rounds of golf by both guys, and that's championship golf. It comes down to very little things and little breaks, and unfortunately, the last putt just doesn't quite drop for Steve.
Just want to say thanks again. Max said it. Thanks to Cisco. Cisco's been a leader in responding to the global crisis we're all going through right now. They pledged $225 million in products, cash, services to aid in COVID-19 relief efforts, and they donated another $5 million to the World Health Organization as part of the Global Citizen Together at Home event last week. And so big thanks, not just to Cisco for helping us out, but to Cisco for everything they do. And then the USGA, who does an unbelievable job with all the championships. It's an honor to be a part of all of what they do each and every year. I know it's going to be a weird 2020 with the juniors being announced. They're going to be canceled this year, but we will continue on with these championships for years to come. If you want to go back and watch some old golf, some old US amateurs, even the ones that you missed here, 94, 95 when Tiger won, you can do that with the USGA streaming app. It's in partnership with Cisco, and the USGA app is free and available on Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV. It has more than 250 hours of on-demand programming and all that stuff, including old championships, a lot of old U.S. Opens. And a reminder, we will be back. Max, the guy you see right there, do you mind waving real quick? Hey, it's the guy. Max, next week we'll have a Chapstick sponsorship. I will be back as well. We appreciate you guys joining us for this. We're going to keep doing them May 2nd, Saturday, 3 p.m. What's the 3 p.m. time zone there, Max?
EDT.
That a boy. EDT. We'll be back. And if you guys don't listen to the podcast, get a grip. Download it. Get a grip of Max Homa and Shane Bacon. We'll record a podcast on Sunday. It'll be out Monday as we do each and every week. And we are positively moving closer and closer to live golf being back as well, where you can actually watch that guy change the Dodger hat for a Titleist hat and go out there and win some golf tournaments. Max, I appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow. And thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks, everybody. Wash your hands. Later.
Please watch.